Good to know. By the way, like nearly 6K going in the account today.
Oh, fantastic.
Got our biggest check ever from G.
Oh, nice.
Only by $50, but still.
Hey. Setting records all over the place around here. All right, do me a favor today. When music starts playing, be quiet because I need to use this for Wednesday.
Well, you might want to give me a 5-second cue if you can. Because like a lot of times I'm talking or what have you, and the music starts. But, okay. I'll try hard.
I'll give you a cue. Might not be 5 seconds. Might be 7.
20. Thank you, Trent.
It's funny when I had Pat on Friday. He we had him, he was on, and like I left him up on the screen during the commercial. Like, I am not dealing with losing him. We've been losing him back and forth. I'm like, nope, he just stays right there. He's not going anywhere once we get you on. No, you are right, Stumpy. Tua did not throw any picks yesterday. 11 seconds.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Monday before the big fella visits. Unless he paid a visit to you over the weekend. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How was your weekend?
My weekend was sensational, David. Thank you for asking. I'm glad you're back. I hope you're feeling better. I was very Christmassy yesterday. Big family dinner yesterday, but also did the cookies with the daughter.
Oh.
We actually had a big, had Sunday gravy yesterday. Daughter helped make the fresh pasta. Daughter helped me make cannolis for the first time. So the daughter and I spent most of the day together yesterday. She did look up at one point at the football games and went, oh, man, my team's getting killed. That was about it. That was about it for her.
Did you tell her to leave the gun, take the cannolis?
Exactly.
By the way,
bakery.
What cookies? I mean, what variety?
Well, we did just the cutouts with the frosting, your traditional cutout Christmas cookies, your trees and your bells and your
Right.
candy canes, etc. But the
Okay.
wife will also, she's got the dough made for the Snickers surprise and whatever those ones you put the Hershey Kiss in.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Right.
I
Right in the middle, the sugar
right.
cookie, and then they put the Hershey Kiss in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, she does those, and then she does a peanut butter cookie that is stuffed around a Snickers. She'll probably do those today. Those
Okay.
are my favorite. The
Yeah.
cutouts, I will say the cutouts are my all-time favorite. I'm a big fan of the sugar cookie with the frosting. Just the good old-fashioned cutout cookie.
Right.
So yeah, the daughter and I, the wife will make them. She's not a big fan of decorating them. And she gets a little upset with her husband when he flaps his fat ass in front of the television and doesn't participate. So yesterday, participation trophies for everyone.
Fantastic. I have found that the holiday cookie is a lot like a potato chip. You
Can't
can't
eat just
have
one.
no, you can't have two. You can't have just four. I mean, I have found that once you start, when you grab that first sugar frosted Christmas tree, it's game on. That the grazing has begun.
It's a really valid point. And David, I actually proved your theory both right and wrong this morning, because when I left out the door, I grabbed one and I only had one, but all I want is 10 more. So
Right.
while I only had one, if I could drive home during a commercial break and get 6 more, I probably would. I feel as if I made a mistake not bringing a tray of cookies in this morning.
So, needless to say, some days we each know when the other is going to nap right after the show. I know what you're doing at 10:15 this morning. You're grazing.
I will be grazing. There is
Well
no
done.
doubt. And David, I do want to say you wouldn't recognize me, not physically, but you and I have a long history in this building.
Yes, we do.
And some good,
Really?
some bad,
R-
and some ugly. I mean, really, the good, bad, and ugly could all be done in our history in this building. But, Friday when I left, they were having a company like barbecue.
Sure. Right.
And I apparently have come a long way, because I was invited by 2 different people
Whoa.
come to the barbecue. Now, I already had a tea time, and I said thank you politely that I had plans. But I made a point, because one of the guys has been great to me with he runs the pop music. He runs a bunch of stations here, but one of them is the pop station. And he found out that my daughter is a Taylor Swift fan. So he has given me some stuff, and he gave me more stuff. And I stopped before I left, and I said, I don't know if you're going to be here next week. I just want to wish you a Merry Christmas and thank you for all of the nice things you've
Wow.
done for my daughter.
Look at
The,
this.
the other person that invited me to the party is someone who doesn't like me at all. In fact, used to come into the Twitch chat room, and if I ever said anything disparaging about the University of Central Florida Knights, she would be beside herself in angst toward me.
Yes. I know of who you speak.
And she invited me. So I don't know what the hell's going on. But yesterday, it brought me to a point this morning that I had extra cannolis from yesterday. So I did bring cannolis in for the only other person that's in the building this morning. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the Christmas spirit hitting me, David. I don't know if it's that I'm getting a little bit older, but I'm being very Christmassy and happy and bright here in a building where you and I have lived our own good, bad, and ugly.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
Are you really?
I'm happy
You
for you.
don't sound it.
No. I'm happy for you because, well, you're just a better man than I. Okay. Because you have, seemingly softened up and you're nicer to people than you have been. And some of them are meeting you halfway or more than halfway, and you're willing to reciprocate. Okay. And you know me very well. All right. I am nicer than you at first meet. Okay. But if you cross me, you are dead to me forever. Forever.
I don't believe the people that I'm speaking of have ever crossed you. The problem is that there's enough in this building that's crossed you that you reflect about it everybody.
Okay. Well, the one who's been really nice to you, he's actually the guy who tapped me on my shoulder and fired me. Okay, he led me to the execution.
Okay,
Put
but
it that way.
Yeah, can you? Now that brings up a whole nother point because we've both had that. I remember when I was across the street and got brought up to the ivory tower that I'm like, I'll be damned, I'm getting fired because there's another person in the room.
Right.
Do you blame the other person in the room who has to essentially, damn near by law now, they have to have someone else in the room? Can you really blame that person?
No. There was more than one person in the room. Okay. There was more than one person. That person who led me to the gallows there, he was not a part of the equation in the end. Okay. So, no, I just think that since you're still there and it's funny how when they were paying us directly, we were toe jam. And now that they're getting our show for free, they like us a lot more. I've noticed that.
It's a valid point.
Right.
It's a valid point. But
right. And so that's good that you're nice to them and, the shaking of the hands and what have you, because I would still tell them what they could do.
Probably good that you're in Jacksonville.
Probably, yes. In fact, in that one instance and one instance only, definitely.
Speaking of Jacksonville,
J. A.
G.
S. Jags. Somebody picked them to go to Denver and win.
Yes, they did. They may have had the day off. They may have been celebrating their birthday on pain pills and a sore mouth. But that's right. David Moulton picked the Jags to win in Denver. And he was right in doing so, where they looked really good. Trevor looked really good again.
By the way, are we all going to learn to just take a deep breath maybe next year and maybe just give some people some time? All right. Yeah. Trevor Lawrence had a very inconsistent up and down first 4 years. Yeah. He also had, 3 different offensive coordinators and probably wasn't the most well-coached quarterback in the NFL that first 4 years of his career. Is that a fair statement? Hell yeah. All right. And even the first part of this year. All right. New system. He was worried about making mistakes. And so he was playing tentatively. And then the head coach said, tell you what, I'm willing to live with a mistake or two. Let it rip. And he said, let it rip. And the coach said, let it rip. And at first, there were a few mistakes with let it rip. And now, how about the last 2 games? 10 touchdowns from Trevor Lawrence. 10 touchdowns from Trevor Lawrence. Making all the throws. Made a play yesterday. There aren't 5 guys in the league who could make the play. All right. Scrambled to his left, was fast enough to avoid a speedy defender coming at him, had 2 guys coming at him, going to hit him. Remember, he's running to his left. He's a righty quarterback. He let that sucker fling. DB draped on his receiver, 18 yards downfield, threw a bullet right to his face mask.
And as he said post-game, there were a couple of those catches that he's like, look at, he goes, they defended him right. Our guys made plays.
Yes, they did.
And early in the year, what was Jacksonville doing when Trevor was trying to make plays?
Drop.
They were leading the league in drops.
Drop. Brian Thomas, drop. You name it. Yeah. They were catching passes. They looked like Chase and Jefferson combined, the receiving core yesterday. They were fantastic. They were motivated. Okay. Liam Cohen took one little quote from Sean Payton, okay, and used it to really motivate his team. Sean Payton was trying to actually say something nice about Jacksonville, that they're a very good team, but since they play in a small market, they don't get the attention they deserve. And he used small market. And Liam Cohen made sure to motivate his team with small market. And when it was over, Cohen walked to the mic and said, well, I'm just glad that this small market team could come into Mile High and get a W. Use it, baby. Use it. Whatever it takes.
Trevor Lawrence throws for 3, runs for 1 more. Back-to-back huge performances out of the Jags QB. And if San Francisco can win tonight in Indianapolis, the Jags lock down a playoff spot. Speaking of using someone's words, we'll talk about Saturday next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
The holidays are here, and we're wall-to-wall with thousands of GIA diamonds, 350 diamond bracelets, 225 pair of diamond studs, and thousands of other fine jewelry pieces, including Rolex watches.
And this is where Todd and I come in. We're in the store, right here with you, making sure you get the best value.
With this kind of selection and us guiding you through it, your gift will be the star of the season.
Visit the Diamond District today. Hablamos Español.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise. On 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I see what you did there, Candid Relief. That's cute. Don't know how he played the second half, Raiders. I don't know how you can hit a fan and stay in the game, but he'll get fined. No, Cavanbaugh. Tomlin should not have benched him. You play with your best players. You don't start benching guys for that. If he's not going to get thrown out by the refs, it's not the coach's job. No. I kept telling my wife they were cheaters the whole second half. She was getting really mad at me.
I checked on Trent this morning. He said he's disappointed, but in a sense relieved because this team was going to get knocked out of the playoffs quickly, and that would have been, I think he says he would have taken that harder.
I don't know how.
Yeah. I don't know how not making the playoffs is better than making the playoffs, but glad you made it, Paula. It's got short arms, Suddy. Can't play at the next level. What a joke. Yes, it is, Paula. It's kind of like Illinois. You don't realize it till you drive it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X on this Overreaction Monday. Boy, do we have a lot to react to. I thought it was a tremendous football weekend.
I agree.
I mean, starting with the Friday night college football playoff game. I mean, really, I wasn't here on Friday. Starting with the Thursday night Rams-Seahawks game.
Maybe the best NFL game of the year.
I would say that. I mean,
It's certainly on the short list.
That second 2-point conversion, counting that as a joke. Okay, but, whatever. But it was a remarkable game. And the other thing that's seemingly happening, Mark, is I'm not saying the NFL's turning into the NBA, but, man, double-digit lead in the fourth quarter? Yeah, so what? I mean, seriously, it seems as if there have never been more teams lose with double-digit fourth-quarter leads, Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, all right, we're down, but this is doable. In the past, that sucker was over. Found a way to run out the clock. Teams couldn't move the ball the way they're moving it now. Whatever the case is, whatever your theory is. But now, down 10, 12, 13, 15, fourth quarter, it's doable. Not going to be easy. Might need a break, but we can do this. Huh. Okay. Have to admit, it's made for a hell of a year, Mark. Very exciting year with unpredictable results. And you got to watch these games, many of them to the very end, man. They ain't over with 5 minutes to go. Hell, in some cases are kind of just beginning.
And obviously it wasn't the late scores. It was the early scores in Oklahoma, Alabama, with the Sooners jumping up 17 spit. Didn't take much of the second quarter for Alabama to tie the thing and give us a game in the second half. Mateer's 6-6 will haunt him for the rest of time.
Yeah, that didn't look good. There was no good angle on that from Mateer.
No,
from the side, from behind. No, it was not a good look.
And then Canes fan was beside, at least the Canes fans I know, David, were beside themselves for most of the first half and into the third quarter because they didn't like the way that their OC was calling the game. And they may have been right.
Maybe. But A&M was stuffing the box and playing man-to-man and was daring Miami to throw it. I dare you. And we are coming after Beck hard.
And he had no time. I mean, I wasn't as critical of the play calling as some others were. And there were articles written about it. It wasn't just people that I know. Yeah, there was a few calls. Beck missed a wide open receiver, too, on a bomb. You know, you hit one of those big plays, it changes the way they defend you. I mean, that's kind of the way I look at it, David. They're, like you said, they're daring Beck to make that play. Yep. And if he can't make it, well, then they're not going to change what they're doing.
There was a particular situation in which I thought Miami should have just come out 4 wide and run 4 goes. Because it looked to me like it was man-to-man, and I didn't even know if they were like, keeping the safety back, but my feeling was just like, you know what? Just run 4 goes. Is that Beck pitch which one he wants to throw to?
Yeah. And I can't sit play to play and just start criticizing coaches because I'm not there. And it's tough to me when you're not watching up high to start criticizing play calling. Personally, I'm not saying that you can't do it. I just don't. But I mean, they're trying to get Tony in that game. They're running reverses. They're running.
Yeah.
They're doing. And A&M was disciplined.
Yeah.
For blitzing and what they did, they stayed true. They kept in their lanes. They protected the edge. I mean, they did all the little things that guys are supposed to do. But I do have to laugh because is it Trezon, the talented offensive lineman who said we're not going to have any problem with Bain?
Right. Why do you say that? Why do you say that? Why poke the bear? Why feel it on the inside? Go out and do it on the outside. Why say it out loud? Why?
And Reuben Bain had 3 sacks, a forced fumble, a couple tackles behind the line of scrimmage. He basically had the type of film in that game that may have taken him from where he's the 6th overall pick to the 2nd or 3rd overall pick.
But his arms are too short, Mark. Once again,
I'll take him.
Once again, his arms are just too short. Never going to be able to do it on the next level. Oh, for goodness sakes. That's what I was thinking the whole time. I'm like, oh, man, it'd be nice if this guy could play on Sunday, but, his arms are 1/4 to 1/2 inch too short. Just not going to be able to do it.
And I'll be honest, I didn't see the Canes making the play at the end. I thought we were going to overtime. I thought there was bonus football coming. I did.
That tailback said, you know what? It's time to go home. Fletcher said, if we're not going to make the big pass play, just give me the damn ball. Give me the damn ball. And by the way, we're not going to let the kicker step on the field anymore. We're taking care of this.
So the Canes get it done.
Yeah.
Crimson Tide gets it done. A couple of teams win. And we got a great game Friday night. We didn't get a lot of good games last year in the first round of the playoffs. I don't know if you think A&M Miami was a good game. I thought it was excellent. I had no problem with the slog. I
Hey,
know
man.
you didn't. I didn't mean you, but the audience doesn't like that style of a game. I had no problem with it.
My hope is, though, when there's something that significant on the line, that you're okay with it. Whether it's 31-31 or 3-3. I mean, it's 5 minutes to go and the loser goes home. I mean, I would like to think that every part of it was exciting. I'd like to think that. But
And the Canes get the big interception at the end to get the win. And then we had 2 blowouts. And look, one of those teams shouldn't have been in the playoff, okay? That's the ACC's fault. Nobody else's.
yeah.
And there's a lawsuit if you don't have a group of 6 team in there. We've been talking about that. No one else will talk about it. They just get up and scream and holler that James Madison and Tulane don't belong. No, they don't. But one of them's going to get in every year. Deal with it. Don't know what to tell you.
Besides, we had blowouts last year. I mean, SMU got blown out. Indiana got blown out. 2 touchdowns.
Tennessee got blown out.
Tennessee got blown out. I mean, so you're okay if the big schools get blown out, but you're not okay if the little schools do. And like Mark said, just suck it up and deal, man. A little guy is going to be in this sucker. Now, they do need to make it so that there aren't 2 little guys.
Right.
Okay. And if
That's
that
the
means
joke.
whether that's their own formula or them reaching out to the ACC and others and going, you got a loophole in your tiebreaker here. You got to shore this up. Because if the ACC had done their tiebreaker properly, then the winner of Virginia, Miami in the ACC title game would have made the playoff. And that meant that Notre Dame would have gotten in instead of James Madison.
Right. And Tulane would have played Oregon and
Right.
Notre Dame would have played Ole Miss. And we would have all been much happier.
Yeah. But, this is a work in progress. What are they, 2 years into this?
Right.
3 years into this? I mean, they're working out the kinks.
And James Madison certainly worked out the kinks, you rat bastards.
Unbelievable.
99-yard drive
To cover.
to cover.
Yep.
To cover.
Thank you, Dan Lanning. Thank you. I did say the best bet on the board, though, was Oregon first half.
Well, David, you didn't say it. I bet it.
Yeah,
I mean,
there you go.
I bet it on Monday. I told everybody all week long it was the best bet. I asked Bud, I said, Bud, I really love Oregon first half. He's like, I already got it. So do I. I got it at 10.5. It went to 12.5. I couldn't have bet that fast enough.
Yeah, you and I were willing to lay the 21 for the game in the first half. That's how confident we were.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, Cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Why, thank you, Brian. It's very nice of you.
Thank you, Brian. Very nice of you. Thanks for listening. Paula, surprisingly well. The scouting report that I was given as to how I was going to feel and be versus my reality. I mean, I told Mark I woke up 9 minutes before the show Friday and almost signed on. So, and I was told that I was going to be miserable all weekend, 3.5 days.
David, I just want to let you know, for you, Friday starting 5. 1, 2,
Look at that.
3, 4, 5, 6 pages.
Jeez. No. I'll try not to have any surgery for a while.
Oh, you know.
I know, Puck. I was jealous of the show he got to host. I mean, hell.
Why do you have to yell at me, Puck? Why do you have to yell? By the way, I know you gave me your winners. Did you fill out your bracket all the way through, or did you just kind of?
Yeah, I picked Oregon to win it all.
Funny, I have Ohio State beating Oregon.
Have Oregon beating Georgia.
Okay. Ooh, and the Lanning Bowl, that would be something.
Uh-huh. But I went 4-0 picking winners the first weekend. I'm guessing you did too.
Yep.
Now, Canada Relief, I have them losing a rematch to Oregon.
I do too. Adam, very nice going with the kiss. Lee was 2 and 3. And he never, I texted him with game of the week and he never sent me anything, so he doesn't get credit nor a loss for it. No, I lost one. I got caught by a half point in that stupid cover by James Madison.
I went 5 and 3 because of James Madison. instead of 6 and 2. So combined, we went. Did you have 7?
I had 7. I went 6.
So we went 11 and 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
We had a lot of the same games.
Do we? Well, there weren't a lot of options.
Right. Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour on this Overreaction Monday, the final Monday before Christmas. Hope your shopping has gone well. Hope it's over. Hope you're not having to sweat it out. I got to run around a little bit today. Put some stuff in the mail.
In the mail?
Yeah, in the mail. Yeah, probably won't get there on time.
I was going to say that's I mean, I know you love the post office and all, but that's
Yep, I know. Hey, what can I tell you? Life got in the way this year a little bit. So, you just
Hey,
take the
David,
L.
if the cards have cash in them, no one's going to care when they get there.
There you go, Mark. There you go.
Always the right size, never the wrong color.
Cash can always show up on the 26th or 27th.
Damn right it can.
Always. Time now for
The starting 5. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the starting 5.
And the starting 5 brought to you by Lee County, Florida, building a better community through BST, business, sports, and tourism. We'll start with the NFL. JAGS. Jags. 6th in a row. Went to Denver. Beat the only team who hadn't lost at home this year. They whooped them. 34-20. Trevor with 4 TDs, 3 of them passing. Snapped the Broncos' 11-game winning streak. Jacksonville's 11 and 4. They have a 1-game lead in the division. Broncos still the 1 seed. They're 12 and 3 with a 1-game lead on the Chargers. They do have to win out, though. Most likely. Chargers right now feel like if they win out, Chargers and Niners are both thinking the same thing. If we win out, we actually win the division because the Chargers play in Denver final week of the year. Or season, I should say. The Bucs can't keep losing division games and think you're going to win the division, Mark. They've lost 3 in a row to the Saints, the Falcons, and the Panthers. Carolina got 2 touchdowns from Bryce Young, and they beat Tampa Bay 23-20 in Carolina. Panthers with a 1-game lead with 2 to play. Now the Bucs still control their playoff fate. They have to go to Miami and win and then beat Carolina at home. Final game of the season. If they do that, they'll win the South no matter what Carolina does this coming week against Seattle. Dolphins. Quinn Ewers was okay. I mean, the stat line looked decent. 20 for 30, 260 plus yards. You know, but they got destroyed. Close game at the half and oofta. Bengals 45-21 over Miami. Dolphins fall to 6-9. Cincy improves to 5-10. Cowboys mathematically eliminated for the postseason again. And the Chargers, nice little 3-game stretch here for LA. They whooped up on Dallas. Herbert with 3 touchdowns. 34-17. LA looming at 11-4. Game behind Denver.
Can I just thank the Chargers right now? Because, David, you weren't here Friday and you didn't hear my picks because my guess is you didn't go back and listen to any of the show parts that you missed. But, David, I took the Chargers in 2.5. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in, and they delivered for me.
Steelers held off the Lions 29-24. Wild final play of regulation. Pittsburgh 9-6 on the season. 2-game lead with 2 to play over the Ravens. The Lions all but out of it. They only have one road to make the playoffs. Win their last 2 and have Green Bay lose their last 2. That's it. Anything else, they're out. And Baltimore all but out. They had a double-digit fourth quarter lead. And New England with 2 fourth quarter touchdown drives. Patriots 28-24 over the Ravens. New England's 12-3. Patriots have the inside track to win the East. They're a game up with 2 to play, and they own the tiebreaker. They finished with 2 division games, however, so they need to win them both. Meanwhile, the Ravens fall to 7-8. And if Pittsburgh goes into Cleveland this coming weekend and wins, that division is over. The Steelers will have won it. By the way, Mike Tomlin with another winning season. Bum.
Fire him.
Get rid of him. Time to move on. Bills, James Cook, 117 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. They held off the Browns 23-20. Buffalo's 11-4, a game behind the Patriots. Bills, Jags, Chargers, all officially qualify for the playoffs if the Colts lose tonight on Monday Night Football. Tennessee beat Kansas City 26-9, their 3rd win of the season. Minshew hurt. They fear he tore his ACL like Mahomes. Tennessee snapped an 11-game home losing skid. Saints have won 3 in a row. They're really screwing up their draft status. 29-6 over the Jets, who have now gone 15 games this year without an interception. That's remarkable in a bad way. Vikings went into Jersey, beat the Giants 16-13. Giants are on the clock right now. The team who's second is the Raiders. Guess who play one another this coming weekend? Giants at Raiders. Loser gets the first overall pick of the draft in all likelihood. Minnesota's 3rd straight win. Giants' 9th straight loss. And speaking of the Raiders, they played hard, but Geno Smith with an early pick 6, and they couldn't overcome it. Houston held off Vegas 23-21, 7th straight win for the Texans. Atlanta has rattled off a couple of wins here with Kirk Cousins. They beat Arizona 26-19. Arizona started 2-0. They've lost 12 of 13 since. Cousins with 3 TDs, 2 of them passing. We mentioned the Colts. They're hosting Monday Night Football tonight. They're 5.5-point underdogs at home against the 10-4 Niners. Niners, if they win out, they'll win the West and potentially be the 1 seed. Because after Indy, they've got Chicago and Seattle on their schedule. Colts, if they lose, going to be very tough to make the playoffs. They'd be 8-7. They'd be 2 behind Houston with 2 to play. Oofta. College football, Arizona State head coach Kenny Dillingham. He signed a new 5-year deal to stay at Arizona State, as everybody wonders, so who the heck's going to be the Michigan coach?
I'm telling you, Michigan is getting a lot of guys paid.
Yes, they are. Penn State got a lot of guys paid, and now Michigan getting a lot of guys paid.
Got that right.
Their current offensive coordinator, Chip Lindsey, left for Missouri. Don't know if he's going to stick around for the bowl game. All those coaches know they're not going to be retained, so
get a job, take it. Bye.
See ya. By the way, the quarterfinals are set. Friday night, New Year's Eve. Although, actually, it's not a Friday night. What am I talking about? Isn't it a Wednesday night? I think it is. New Year's Eve, Cotton Bowl. Ohio State a 10-point favorite over the Canes. And then a triple header on New Year's Day. The Orange Bowl at noon. Oregon a 1.5-point favorite against Texas Tech. Indiana a 7-point favorite against Alabama. Did you ever think you'd live long enough to see Indiana on a neutral field be a 7-point favorite over Alabama in football?
No, David, I really didn't. And just whatever Indiana does past this week, if let's just say they win this week and end up losing, it will have mean in back-to-back weeks, or back-to-back games, I should say, they will have taken down Ohio State and Alabama.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
On neutral fields.
Right.
Times. Right. Mm-hmm. In football, that needs to be pointed
in
out.
Football, yes.
Again.
Right. Thank you.
The final quarterfinal at night on New Year's Day, the Sugar Bowl, Georgia 7-point favorite over Ole Miss. Remember, every game Ole Miss wins, LSU has to pay Lane Kiffin another $250,000. It does make you want to root for Ole Miss, just because LSU deserves this. Baseball, the White Sox end up signing 25-year-old Japanese slugger Munetaka Murakami. He hit like 60 homers over there, broke Sadaharu O's single-season record. He signed a short-term deal, 2 for $34. And if he does pretty well, obviously he'll be a free agent at 27 years of age. Red Sox acquire Wilson Contreras from the Cardinals for 3 highly thought-of pitching prospects. Contreras, a 33-year-old first baseman. Boston lost out on Pete Alonso. The Rays on Friday made 2 significant deals. They sent right-handed pitcher Shane Baz to the Orioles for 4 prospects and a draft pick and $2.5 million in international draft pool compensation. 3 of the 4 prospects are highly thought of. For the Orioles, Baz has 3 years of control, and he's just 26 years old. They needed pitching. The Rays also sent 31-year-old Brandon Lau to the Pirates for 2 prospects. Tampa Bay dumps $11.5 million in salary. Lau hit 31 homers last year. It's a very good deal for the Pirates.
I'm with you there. I like this move for the Pirates. They needed a couple of bats. They get one here. This is a good move.
And I know he's a rental, but you know what? They got to show their fans and Skeens that they're serious about winning.
And for Miller and Moulton, while I liked Brandon Lau, I truly did. I enjoyed watching the guy play. It will make life a little easier this summer.
Yes.
Because there's not a Low and a Lau, and it only took us 8 years to figure out which one was which.
Right. Josh Lowe, as in J. Lowe.
J. Lowe.
Right. So just when we figured out that Brandon's last name was Lau, he gets sent to the Pirates.
Tell me when you saw that trade, you didn't talk about that in your head for 5
I laughed. I said, well, we just figured out who's who. So, of
Right.
course, you got to trade one of them. At least you traded the most difficult one to remember. J. Lowe will be easy. College hoops. Gators beat Colgate by 30. Bama, man, they're tired. They've won against South Florida and Kennesaw State their last 2 games, but they haven't covered either one. Tide beat the Owls by 11. Our system play went 0-2 yesterday.
It was
didn't
due.
like-
It'd been rolling. It was 5-1, and I told you on Friday, I certainly didn't like the UConn DePaul game because DePaul sucks.
Well, Wake Forest got beat by 30-plus at home by Vandy, so that didn't work out for us either. 2 other college basketball games of note. Miami beat North Florida 105-67. And are they IPFW or did they lose the I? I keep just seeing Purdue Fort Worth. They used to be Indiana Purdue
Wayne.
Fort Worth.
Fort
Wayne, sorry.
Fort Wayne.
I'm just keep seeing PFW now. They used to be IPFW. Anyway, they went to South Bend yesterday, ruined Notre Dame's Christmas, beat the Irish 72-69. NBA, Brunson at 47 in the Knicks 132-125 win over the Heat. Highest scoring regular season game of the year so far in Atlanta. Bulls beat the Hawks 152-150. Spurs over the Wizards by 11. T-Wolves edged the Bucks by 3. Brooklyn by 15 over the Raptors. And Sacramento hit a 3 at the buzzer to beat Houston in overtime, 125-124. Avs beat the Wild 5-1. They've still only lost twice in 35 games in regulation. Detroit 3-2 over Washington in overtime. Stamkos scored. Nashville beat the Rangers 2-1. Ottawa 6-2 over the Bruins. You know the Sabres have won 6 in a row? They beat Jersey 3-1. Pittsburgh in a shootout over Montreal 4-3. Dallas beat Toronto 5-1. Rumors the Maple Leafs are going to fire their coach.
Yeah, because it's the coach.
Right. It's not the
What's
roster.
Mitch Marner doing with Vegas, guys?
It's doing really well, Mark.
Yeah.
Utah in overtime over Winnipeg 4-3, and Edmonton by the same score over Vegas. That McDavid guy had 2 goals and a helper. By the way, college volleyball, Texas A&M, the team that took down number 1 Nebraska, swept Kentucky to win the title yesterday. And it's 7 minutes before the hour. That was the starting 5. Brought to you by Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This December, watch the nation's best high school basketball players compete in the City of Palms Classic. Fort Myers will once again welcome future college and NBA stars as they square off at Suncoast Arena from December 18th through the 23rd. Come see Southwest Florida's own Bishop Verreau versus Barron Collier on Sunday night, December 21st. For tournament information, please visit cityofpalmsclassic.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yes, Sonny, he does. Yes, he does. Big OC, I wonder, would you bring Wink Martindale back if you were the Ravens? Because I would. Yeah, Johnny Mac. JP does pre-halftime and post.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Overreaction Monday, the final one until the big fella visits. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Mark, don't know if there's a poll question that jumps out for you. I do just want to throw this out there because, you know, people start talking about coaches of the year and this, that, and the other thing. I don't really care. Mark, I'm pretty sure you don't really care. There's a lot of great candidates this year in the NFL. I don't know that they can go wrong because the Patriots finished fourth last year. All right. The Niners finished fourth last year. The Bears finished fourth last year. The Jags finished third. Denver finished third, albeit with 10 wins. And Carolina finished tied for last, I think by a tiebreaker. They were technically a third-place team instead of a fourth-place team, but they were a 5-win team. Pats are leading their division. Jags are leading their division. Denver's leading their division. Bears are leading their division. Carolina's leading their division. And the Niners enter Week 15 knowing if they win out, they'll win the West. And I think they're the 1 seed. Because if they beat Indy, they then finish with Chicago and Seattle. So the win over the Bears, I think, would give them, you know, the edge head-to-head there. And if they beat Seattle to finish 13-4, they will have swept the Seahawks. And they'll win the 3-way tie, potentially between Seattle, the Rams, and them, because they'll have the best division record. They'll be 5-1 in the division. So,
you know, I think that Canales has zero shot, believe it or not, of winning Coach of the Year.
agreed.
Should be getting all kinds of consideration. I think he has zero shot of winning the award. I
Agreed.
think it's Vrabel's to lose. Ben Johnson probably might have his hand up saying, are you sure? I think it's between the two of them. Despite what Cohn's done, despite what's going on in San Francisco, I think it's between Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel, for what it's worth. That's my 2 cents.
Do you think Liam Cohen is charging fast on the outside or just charging enough to win the bronze?
David, I think he's charging fast. The problem, it's the Preakness, not the Belmont.
Gotcha.
See, for those of you that don't know, the Preakness is the shortest of the 3 Triple Crown races. The Belmont is the 1.5 miles. That's the long one.
There you go.
I just every once in a while need to make a Triple Crown reference to satisfy me.
Now back to our regularly scheduled programming already in progress.
David,
Yes, Mark.
How do you hit someone in the stands and keep playing? I mean, I guess the refs don't see it, but we have this replay assist now. I mean, he's going to get suspended, right? Or is he just going to get fined for punching a fan?
Well, I would like to think he's going to get suspended by the Steelers. I mean, I would like to think that this is something that they were unaware of during the game, and they, went about winning an important game. And in the locker room afterwards, somebody notified Tomlin, and then he saw a video of it. And I would like to think they're going to suspend him for at least the Cleveland game this coming weekend.
All right.
I would like to think that suspension would come from somebody whose last name is Rooney. In fact, I wonder if that suspension would cover the rest of the regular season and dare the Players Association to sue and fight or what have you. Just
and
take the matter off the NFL desk.
Said. I don't. It's really easy. If the fan said something that was horrible, all he's got to do is grab a security guy and say, that guy called me a blankety blank, have him removed. And trust me, in today's NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, that would happen. Justin Thomas isn't the only player, I don't want to say athlete, only participant that can get a fan thrown out of a game. They all can. So that's all. Wild ending in that Detroit-Pittsburgh game. That was goofy. It was pass interference.
It was. In a way, to me, that was irrelevant or should have been irrelevant because he caught the ball on the 1 and never got in the end zone. The part to me that's alarming, and I do mean alarming, they counted that as a lateral?
As a touchdown. He was pushed back 3 yards. Forward momentum was clearly not only stopped, it was going in the other direction.
Mark, I thought he was pushed back 4 yards. He was pushed back 6. If you look closely, he's on the 7-yard line when he laterals it to Goff, who's on the 8-yard line, who then goes running into the end zone. When 2 defenders push a player back 6 yards and have him in the grasp, I mean, you call penalties on these guys if they slam guys to the ground. So which is it? Is it forward progress or we're going to play like it's the 1940s and 50s again? Okay,
well,
one or the other.
David, the only thing you're right. All right, I want to start with you're right, okay? But with the way that we now let scrums go on and linemen push guys down the field and we pop the ball out and count fumbles when we're pushing guys back.
Well, then, Mark, then the defensive players should be allowed to slam the guys to the ground, period. If you're going to let that be a lateral, he was pushed back 6 yards. At what point is it forward progress? And that play was still alive? I'm hoping they just went with that explanation to just get off the field. Okay, but to say that was a touchdown after the 2-point conversion Thursday night, seriously? What the hell is going on with this league? You got to be kidding me. These plays count? This is stuff we wouldn't count on the playground with the cars and the pavement and the Nerf ball. Seriously, we'd laugh at the guys and go, come on, dude, you were down. I mean, seriously? That would have counted? That would have counted if not for the offensive pass interference? Oh, my goodness. Please tell me they're going to come out today and make a correction. That the officials were wrong when they said that was a viable lateral and a touchdown. Clearly forward progress had been stopped, okay, and the game was over because it was 4th and goal and he didn't get in the end zone.
David, I do want to go back because you weren't here on Friday. I didn't have the problem that you obviously have with the 2-point conversion because it was clearly a lateral. And the whistle never blew, and this is what they do.
Well, that's
now.
not true. The whistle did blow. They said it's irrelevant. The whistle clearly blew. Play it again. The whistle blows. Okay? And see, to me, that wasn't a quick jump on the ball. Okay, that wasn't. Okay, and the whistle clearly blew because nobody went for the ball, including the Seahawk player who bends over and picks it up just to hand it to the official. Okay, so everybody had stopped. Listen, here's how I believe it was a bad ruling. They're going to make a rule in the offseason to make it so that doesn't count as a 2-point conversion.
What would you then have said? I'm just curious because it was clearly a lateral. It was. I come on now. That was clearly backwards. They showed it 6,000 times. The ball went, at worst, it went direct, which means it's a backward pass. It's got to go forward. It did not go forward.
It was not a forward pass. I would give you that.
Okay. So how would you have liked them to rule that? I'm not saying what you're saying is going to be wrong. I'm just curious because to me, the part of this that's most important is that it was a backward. It was not a forward pass.
I think it was obvious that the play had been ruled incomplete. And if they want to say it was erroneously called incomplete, that's fine. But to me, it was clear that it was ruled incomplete. Everybody stopped. Everybody. That guy didn't jump on the ball. He literally bent over, picked it up as a courtesy to hand to the official. If the ball hadn't just gone into the end zone by 6 inches, he would have picked it up at the 6-inch line and handed it to the official, and it wouldn't have been a 2-point conversion. Nobody thought that play was alive. No one thought that play was a successful 2-point conversion. Not the 22 guys on the field, not the 7 officials. How you can then jump in after the fact and say that actually checks all the boxes and is a successful 2-point conversion, that's a joke.
So then you would have just called it the play over, they don't get it, even though it was a backward pass. I'm just curious.
At least I would have said the play was erroneously whistled down, or I would have said the ball was not recovered as quickly as we need it covered. Because it wasn't. It wasn't. Like 3.5 seconds went by till the guy just picked up the ball nonchalantly and handed it to the official. I don't see. Listen, if you're not allowed to roll the ball forward, okay, the holy roller play, Raiders Chargers from 40 years ago, if you can't do that, how can you let that count? That's a scoring play, for goodness sakes.
No, I mean, and it turned out to be a big scoring play. There's no doubt. It did hit the defender. I mean, that is obviously the key difference, and you know that.
Yeah.
It hit an offensive player. It hit a defensive player, so it's very different than the holy roller. I know the reference that you bring up.
Right, and one was an intentional fumble forward, and the other was a lateral that, took a bunch of crazy bounces. But, Mark, there were 29 guys in uniform on that play. None of the 29 thought it was a live ball and it was a viable 2-point conversion. I mean, if you're going to replay and you're overturning it, I was stunned. And the fact that McCauley in the booth, was adamant that it should be overturned, I'm like, oh, my goodness. I mean, talk about over-officiating here.
And maybe that's why a lot of us didn't, because as it's happening in replay, he was adamant that was the right call. Adamant. So I just wanted, we don't go back that far often on this show, but you weren't here Friday. You made the point earlier. I wanted you to get your 2 cents in, and it looks like you got closer to a nickel. Hell, maybe even a dime. Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So I have not pressed send yet, David, but I just thought this as a poll question. Which first-round playoff winner has the best shot to win again? Oregon, Miami, Ole Miss, Alabama.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're all, well, 3 of the 4 big underdogs, significant underdogs. Well, DC, I'm not in Indianapolis, so I'm not going to be in the production meeting. Not working the game tonight as a precaution. I know now what I didn't know last week. I'd be in Indianapolis, but oh well. It is New Year's Eve. It's the Sun Bowl. It's Wednesday. It's 2:00 in the afternoon.
You know what? If there is DC, I've never seen it.
I don't have to worry. I don't have any travels till Sunday. The longest stretch all year without traveling. Kind of nice.
So do you have a Saturday game next week then?
Going to have Monday, Wednesday, Saturday next
Gotcha.
week. And we won't know where the Saturday game is until late Sunday night.
What's going to be the Sunday night game now? I mean, is there going to be anything for?
It could be Carolina, Tampa Bay.
Okay, yeah. There you go.
It could also be Chargers at Broncos.
Yeah.
Could be interesting. Is it Lions, Bears,
Seahawks, Niners,
where the Bears have to win the division? I book it EB, but I don't pay for it. I send the network the arrangements, and the network makes them because they pay for it. It was very nice. Jim Rickoff, the
Here we go.
director.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour on this Overreaction Monday. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Should we overreact to Tampa Bay falling apart here, losing 6 out of 7?
Well, I don't know how much overreacting we can do because the last few weeks have been constant reactions from the Bucs fan. They want Bowles fired. They've wanted him fired for a while now. They don't like him. And they liked him when they were 5-1. I should say they tolerated him. They tolerated him at 6-2. And when things started going south, well, then people started coming at Bowles, and not just in our Twitch chat room, anywhere around Florida. I made the case Friday, David, and I am curious your thoughts because I think Bowles is going to get fired if they don't win the division. I do. I don't think it's right. Pat Kerwin was adamant that Tampa will quickly become a 5-win team if they get rid of Bowles. We'll see. But doesn't Jason Light deserve some of the blame here too?
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
he seems to be getting none. It all goes at Bowles, and it goes at the defense. Well, unless Bowles is in charge of the draft, then he's not entirely responsible for all of the draft mistakes that have been made on the defensive side of the ball. They don't have a pass rush. They can't get to the quarterback unless they blitz. You know, I applauded Reddick, so I'm not going to sit there and play armchair quarterback or armchair GM and say it was a bad move, but it didn't work. I mean, they went out and got a free agent that they thought could rush the passer. He can't. He's not any good.
Nope. Big miss because they really needed him.
Yeah, they needed that one to work. We knew that. And I think you were with me in applauding them
Sure.
for getting Reddick. I mean, you've got to swing. They swung and missed.
But, Mark, as we've seen, the coach goes first, then the heat turns to the GM. It's another reason why what's happening in Miami is so counterintuitive. Now, did the GM go first because he's been there a lot longer? You know, did the GM also, because remember, it was a mutual parting. Was it a mutual parting because he and Stephen Ross talked about the future and how it's going to go? And the GM said, yeah, I don't want to be a part of this. This ain't going to work. All right. Sounds like you don't want me. And let me tell you, after what I just heard, yeah, I don't want to be here either. But, you know, I mean, look what's going on with the Giants. They got rid of the head coach. And 6 weeks later, guess what? Now all the heat's coming on the general manager, as it should have 6 weeks ago, because he was much more responsible than the head coach was.
I got you, and you're right, David. But there's no heat coming at the GM in Tampa. It's all Bulls, and the defense sucks. Well, who's the guy responsible for drafting and signing the defensive players? Tryon Smith, bust. I mean, we can sit there and go through all, when you were having fun with Miami's second-round draft picks back on Thursday, David, we could go through the Tampa draft and do a lot of it, too, on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and I love the Cansey draft pick, but the kid can't stay healthy. That's a bad break because I love the pick, but 3 years he can't stay healthy, and they need him. But what good is he if he can't be on the field? Joe Tryon was a first-round pick, bust. They have missed on the defensive line. They have.
No, they've been pretty good on the offensive side. The kid they drafted from Duke was fantastic. Ibuka, had a great start to the season. He's not been great all year long.
They've paid some of the DBs this year. The guys they paid having a down year. They haven't, they've invested in the linebacker position. That hasn't necessarily worked out either. I mean, they're going to have a difficult offseason on that side of the ball. But you're right, Mark. I think if they don't win their last two and win the division, Bowles is going to be replaced. To me, that's an interesting poll question for a Bucks fan. I'll give you two options. Win your last two, win the division for the 5th straight year, and make the playoffs for the 6th straight year. I mean, all things that this franchise has never done. I mean, they haven't. This is the best stretch in the history of the Bucks. I mean, 5 straight playoff appearances, 4 straight division titles, still viable this year to make it 6-5. But Mark, I think Bucks fans so want change. I think they'd be willing to vote that they don't win the division so that Bowles gets fired. Because they're convinced if they do win the division at 9-8, they're going to get knocked out in the first round, so we're just spinning our wheels and wasting time anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's Seattle or the Rams, they'd be a 6-point dog at home.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
In that game.
Even though they've already beaten Seattle. Right.
So I guess because Pat's convinced me of what he thinks of Bowles, I'm not as quick to gas him. And to your point, they've never done this before.
No.
Never.
Nope.
And while Detroit wasn't winning divisions, this kind of reminds me of Jim Caldwell with the Lions. Kept having winning records, brought them to the playoffs, 9-8 or 9-7, and well, we can do better than this. Maybe you can, Tampa. Maybe you can. You've gone through a lot of coordinators. They've all had success. I don't want to say Baker's necessarily regressed, but this year, the start was fantastic, winning. I think maybe we got fooled into all those early victories thinking the team was better than what they were.
Clearly. The last second wins stopped. Therefore, the weaknesses get exposed.
And this week, another interception by Baker, albeit Mike Evans took total responsibility, say he ran the wrong route. So another loss with an opportunity for a comeback. But you beat Miami, you beat Carolina, you can still win the division.
By the way, meanwhile in Miami, the word over the weekend is, oh yeah, they are so done with Tua. They're moving on, period. That's a foregone conclusion. Oh yeah, but the head coach is coming back. Whoo-wee. Man.
Not taking the temperature of the room, David.
Oh, my goodness. Then you get that cutaway mid-4th quarter, the owner laughing with whoever the guest is next to him, down 45-14. Then another cutaway is him aimlessly playing on his phone, seemingly unable to either read it or make it work properly. Oh, just awful optics. Awful.
I got to say, David, I'm impressed that you still watched part of the Dolphins game because I had 6 games on and I very rarely, if ever, paid any attention to the Miami Dolphins. They're an afterthought to me. Like they are. I've been invited to 3 Dolphin games this year to sit in a suite. I've turned it down every time. Why would you put yourselves through watching that? Unless you're a diehard fan and just love misery, why would you even watch the Miami Dolphins? It's an unwatchable football team. They're awful. They bring nothing to the table.
And yet they're 6-9, which lets you realize just how many really awful teams there are.
It is a peculiar year in the National Football League. I don't remember, David, you and I have been doing this for damn near 20 years, and I'm sure you could find another year that's similar, but where the haves and the have-nots are so different than one another. It is a strange year in that league.
Mark, the Dolphins have the same number of wins as the Chiefs. What are you talking about? Heading into Christmas, they both have the same number of wins. What do you mean? And we're not talking 12 or 11 or 10. We're talking 6. Burrow, Lamar, and Mahomes, all quarterbacking teams with losing records. What are you talking about?
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The holidays are here, and our special showcases of overstocks and estate jewelry is waiting.
50% off diamond bracelets, rings, earrings, pendants, even stunning colored gemstone jewelry with tanzanite, sapphire, rubies, and more.
Todd and I are in the store every day to help you uncover the perfect gift.
Wrap up a little magic this year.
Hurry in. These 50% off deals won't last. Only at the Diamond District. Hablamos Espanol.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise. On 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The 2025 Industry Appreciation Awards in Fort Myers have wrapped up, but the celebration of business excellence continues, hosted by the Lee County Economic Development Office, Horizon Council, and Horizon Foundation. This annual event honors the innovators, job creators, and community builders driving the region forward. Visit industryappreciationawards.com to see this year's winners and learn how local businesses are shaping a stronger, more resilient economy for Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Well, Canada Relief, the Seahawks will be winning their division after tonight. No, the 49ers are 10-4. The Seahawks are 12-3. So the best they can be is 11-4, same record as the Rams. Still have the tiebreaker, right? Although I think that they could lose. I think New England has a better shot of running the table than I do Denver. But I don't think the Chargers will sweep the Broncos, no. But they could. Remember, that'll be for the division.
Grizz will love you, but that ain't happening. Rams with 11 days to get ready for that game. They'll be honked off. Also, the Rams may still have a chance to win the division.
Ugh. I love editing. Michael, I know. I just said they could have a shot to win the division. I mean, my goodness, if I don't say that the Broncos are the best effing team that's ever walked the face of the effing earth, all you do is contradict what I say. Jesus, I said they were going to be the one. I said they still could play for the division. That these are facts. Is there anything about what I said that isn't true? Or are you going to contradict every goddamn thing I say every single time I open it up, unless I say your team is the best goddamn thing since the Dolphins that were undefeated? Enough already. My God. You wonder why I want them to lose every damn week? You're the reason why. It's annoying. I'm sorry, Denver's going to win the Super Bowl. They're going to be the 1 seed, and they're going to win every game by 64 effing points. Is that better? You guys, my goodness. Yes, and I picked Tampa Bay to go to the NFC Championship. I was wrong about that. Do 4 hours every day, 5 days a week, and tell me how accurate you're going to be. Jesus. Can't wait to do 8 hours of editing after the show. You guys get me so excited to work hard. Five seconds, David.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour on this Overreaction Monday. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. So the football weekend, if you consider that, you know, the Rams Seahawks Thursday night, maybe the game of the year in the NFL, had already happened. So it doesn't count as part of the weekend. Alabama coming from 17 down Friday night to win in Oklahoma. The Canes hanging in there. That game was the definition of survive and advance. That was an NCAA tournament basketball game where nobody could put the ball in the ocean.
Pre-shot clock.
But eventually somebody's going to hit a shot and that team's going to win, and that team was the Canes, because A&M's 3 at the buzzer rimmed out, so to speak. But, all right, what's more likely to happen either first or at all? That they get rid of the group of 5s, group of 6s, whatever, in this playoff, because, boy, is everybody dumping on them. Or, yeah, we need home games in the quarterfinal round too. These home games are great.
I think home games in the quarterfinal will happen first. David, I think that the group of 6 or whatever is going to stay forever. I mean, this year, this is stupid that we had 2. It is. I'm sorry. But to your point earlier in the show, how did last year's first round games go?
They were all
Why is it okay that Tennessee got goat rodeoed by Ohio State, but when Oregon does it to James Madison, it's the worst thing that's ever happened in the history of college football? I mean, even Tulane, yeah, they got whooped. But if you watched the game, Tulane drove their first, I think, 3 or 4 possessions. They had the ball in Ole Miss territory. They had no problem moving the ball.
I do wonder, first off, we don't think that they'll ever be able to get around the lawsuit. That the reason there's a group of 6 representative in the playoff is if they don't, they'll be sued and it will be an antitrust violation. Now, Miller and Moulton aren't saying we understand it. And there were people who came out this weekend who said, yeah, I know they're going to sue, but kick them out anyway and deal with it after the fact. I'm also wondering if we go to 16 and we only allow 1 team in, is that going to make it better so that you reward, A, you reward a group of 16, but also B, if anybody's going to get the expected layup in the first round at home, it should be the team that we deem to have had the best regular season. Is everybody going to be okay with that? Because then in theory, we'd have 7 other games. And would anybody really pay a whole lot of attention to what happened in Indiana versus Tulane at Indiana if, we had done that this year?
And I keep thinking about, is this, and I've always believed that they keep increasing, and I'm sure at some point they'll go to 16, but they got to figure out some things, because I don't know what the numbers are going to be going across the NFL games. They had 2 blowouts, so I imagine the TNT games are not going to get a good number. The NFL seemingly doing everything right now. All these comebacks and close games that the playoff didn't produce, as the day was going on, didn't produce. Friday night was great. Saturday afternoon, fantastic. And then by the time Saturday evening's coming around, you're watching Packers and Bears, and rightly so. By the way, it does get us to our poll question. Which first-round playoff winner has the best shot to win again? Oregon, Miami, Ole Miss, Alabama. I went Oregon because I think they're going to win, not just because they're the 5 seed. I told you on Friday, I have Oregon playing for the national title against Ohio State.
And even though I wasn't on the show Friday, I have Oregon winning the national title, beating Georgia.
So that's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X to vote. So that's just, but I keep thinking about what you talked about last week is logistically 12 makes more sense than 16.
8's a problem. The NFL's not playing ball. If you're going to go to 16, which we all think they will, then you're going to have to move the season up and you're going to have to make some sacrifices. You're going to have to use the Friday and Saturday, the first 2 weeks of December, when the NFL by law cannot compete with you. This is where even the Thursday night game gets in the way. You can't do Thursday, Friday, Saturday because of Thursday night football. So the NFL's a problem here, and they're not willing to play ball
At
Even-
all.
No.
Because they haven't even put, it's not like they gave us Jets and Saints on Saturday. No, they threw the Eagles at you in a division game against Washington, and then only just threw Packers and Bears at you for the nightcap. So you're right, David. The NFL, not only are they not playing ball, they want you to take your ball and go home. The NFL, we've talked about this for a while. They're not content unless they're ruling everything. They've taken over Christmas, and they'll be damned if they let their free farm system have a night to themselves.
Which, quite frankly, we don't understand. If I was the NFL, I'd want college football to be as big as they could possibly be. I would be promoting their tournament if I were the NFL. Honestly. Not only do I not view them as competition, I want people to fall in love with the college football playoff and all these guys that are going to get what? Drafted.
David, it's a great point because our show, not you and I, but our listeners, our audience will bash the NBA at all costs. They love to do it. And there are some reasons that I can justify it. There are a lot that I can't. But I even think for you and I, David, when the NBA was really big and you and I were really into the NBA, and for me, it was a long time ago. But what did the tournament provide? Even if a guy left after his freshman or sophomore year, Isaiah leaves after his sophomore year and winning a title. Well, when he got drafted, we all knew who he was. And we watched players go from what? The tournament to the league. And we all followed them. And the game has better athletes now. It has better players. But the international part of the NBA throws off the fan who may like college basketball and then wants to watch his player go to the pros. So to your point, David, why wouldn't the NFL want the only farm system, if you think about it, because college basketball is not what it was, the international aspect of it, the draft is very different than it was 20 years ago. The baseball drafts and hockey drafts really have never put players from getting drafted to the league. There are exceptions. There are the Skeens of the world. There's the Sidney Crosbys of the world, the Connor McDavids. Yeah, they happen. But by and large, and I'm a Red Wing fan. I'm seeing guys that are drafted 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. Hey, they're finally making the team. Well, football, it's automatic. It's the last one where we actually watch the farm system. And that draft is, we all know, the biggest draft that there is. In fact, there was these morons on a radio show that thought they should never go to Thursday night, that it would ruin the NFL draft.
Yeah, we were wrong.
Wow. So I'm with you, David. I would, how the NHL, when they have games on during the playoff, they literally put a promo on of where the games are going to be for the rest of the week.
Well, it's mandated in the NFL. If you notice, the networks are all promoting the other networks. Fox and CBS all promoted Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. We, on Monday Night Football, we put up a graphic looking ahead.
The Thursday night game and who's
Yeah.
on and what the big games are of the weekend.
Yep.
Yeah.
And trust me, we do it because the NFL wants you to. And the NFL's not quite, but almost the masters. They get mad at you and they decide to take their ball and go home, you're in big trouble. Because this is the only thing on television that people are consistently watching. But we all think they're going to 16. I don't think 14 works either. Okay, how many buys you going to have? Okay, you're going to have 2 buys. So you're going to have 6 games. To me, if you're going to have 6, you might as well have 8. And then besides, you mean to tell me that what? How many teams are getting home games, but now you're going to make it so the top 2 teams don't get a home game? How absurd is that?
So we understand why they all want home games. We think you could have both. You could have the first weekend of 4 games, and then the next week, the games or the next games are at home venues as well.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we all have our memories of the cotton and the orange and the rose and the sugar. But wouldn't you want Miami to have to go to Ohio State? Wouldn't you want Oregon to have to go to Texas Tech? Wouldn't you want Alabama to have to go to Bloomington, Indiana? And hell, they already do it. But you know what? I'd rather see the game in between the hedges than in the Superdome. I mean, make the regular season more meaningful. You're playing for something. What are you playing for? A home game or 2.
By the way, the league you're copying seems to have done pretty well by having home games until their last game. But we do ask which first-round playoff winner is the best shot to win again. Oregon, I think they're favored, so they're probably going to be the one most people pick. It's getting 47% of the vote right now. By the way, something strange happened over the weekend. It doesn't happen very often. Miller and Moulton both had winning weeks.
Unbelievable. I think it only happened one other time this year.
Lee did not. Lee was 2-3. David was 5-3 with one of the worst beats of the weekend.
Thanks, James Madison.
I was 6-1, suffering that same fate. David, with his big week, has moved to 20 games below 500.
Yeah! Yeah, baby!
74 on the year.
Tell you what, though. I know you beat me against the spread this week, but I picked the Jags to win straight up, and I picked the Titans to beat the Chiefs. And I know you beat me head-to-head by 1, so you gained ground there, but I'm kind of proud of my upsets.
I wish I'd have had him. I might have gone undefeated for the week or had just 1 loss. But I did pick up 1 in our straight-up NFL picks. I'm now down 4. 2 weeks left. That's going to be tough. I'm going to have to go out there on a limb the next couple of weeks. But you can throw the last week of the season, throw everything away for how those games are going to go as well. But David, I will say, I had a few NFL picks. I had 3 college picks, but I did win big on Western Michigan over Kennesaw State. Yes, I bet that bowl game. I know you weren't here for that. I just wanted to let you know that I went Western Michigan over Kennesaw as one of the bowl games. We will probably let it rip on Friday with bowl games. There's a good chance you could see double-digit picks out of both Miller and Moulton heading into next weekend, but we'll see.
By the way, officially at game time, according to Vivid Seats, you could have gotten into the Oregon James Madison game for $66, the Alabama Oklahoma game for $146, the Tulane Ole Miss game for $207, the Miami A&M game for $231. But if you wanted to see Montana and Montana State, that would have cost you $654 at kickoff.
More people live in Southwest Florida than live in the entire state of Montana. And that ticket was going for nearly $700. Miller and Moulton on an Overreaction Monday. Thanks for listening.
The 2025 Industry Appreciation Awards in Fort Myers have wrapped up, but the celebration of business excellence continues, hosted by the Lee County Economic Development Office, Horizon Council, and Horizon Foundation, this annual event honors the innovators, job creators, and community builders driving the region forward. Visit industryappreciationawards.com to see this year's winners and learn how local businesses are shaping a stronger, more resilient economy for Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Somebody asked if the Giants and Jets have ever traded. Yes. They traded 3 years ago, in fact. Giants traded away their second-round pick to the Jets to move down 7 spots so the Jets could draft Breece Hall when the Giants were a year away from losing Saquon. Another Joe Shane special.
I saw somebody post, David, one of the New York writers, was like, they put basically the tankathon up, and he goes, just following the New York football teams. Seven seconds.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We're halfway home on this Overreaction Monday, at least in Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete, Fort Myers, Naples. Final hour of the show. Live Oak Lake City, surrounding areas, Port Charlotte, Venice, and surrounding areas. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Down to the quarterfinals in the college football playoff. 2 weeks left in the NFL regular season. After tonight, Niners-Colts, a game with a decent amount of meaning. San Fran, if they win out, will win the NFC West. I know this has been a Seahawks-Rams dance for a couple months now, but the Niners finish with Indy, Chicago, and Seattle. And if they win out, they'll be 13-4, and they'll be 5-1 in the division.
And they'll be the one, I mean, not just win the division, which you said, they're the 1 seed as well if they do that.
Right, because the Bears have 4 losses now. Losing to the Niners would give them 5. And so the Niners will win the West and be the 1 seed. And right now the Niners are what? The 6 seed and in 3rd place? So San Fran with a lot to play for. A lot to play for. And I believe this is their last road game of the year. I think they finish home for Chicago, home for Seattle. Meanwhile, the Colts, they're playing for their playoff lives tonight.
Well, yeah, if they lose, I guess they could still technically
catch Houston.
Right.
Because they'll be 2 down with 2 to play.
Right.
And they'll play them the final game of the season. But obviously, then they'd have to win next week, and Houston would have to lose. And Houston's playing who? The Chargers? I mean, they don't have an easy game, but the Colts will have no margin for error. And they will have gone from the 1 seed to all but eliminated from the playoffs in 5 weeks. Remember, when this started, they were 8-2. Then the schedule got harder. Daniel Jones got hurt. And now it's Grandpa Rivers at the controls tonight. Big game for both teams. An absolute must for the Colts. Colts lose tonight. Officially, Bills, Jags, Chargers clinch playoff spots tonight with a Colts loss.
But yesterday, the Jags getting it done, going to Denver, doing something no one's done yet this year. That's beat Denver in Denver. And Trevor Lawrence over the court. Hey, and look, I'm guilty. David's guilty. I especially am guilty. When they blew that game against the Texans, I thought you could stick a fork in them. Watched it last year when the Bears had everything working in their favor. They blew the game on the Hail Mary against Washington, and they didn't win again. And I thought a similar fate was in store for Jacksonville after blowing the big lead against Houston. All they've done since then is, quite frankly, look like the best team in football since they've lost to Houston.
They've won 6 in a row since that 4th quarter collapse. It's why, by the way, Mark, I don't disagree with you. We very briefly mentioned the turnaround teams this year, and you think Coach of the Year will come down to Vrabel in New England and Ben Johnson in Chicago, with maybe Liam Cohen finishing third, and there are a lot of coaches who, if they got votes, you could nod your head and go, yeah, I could see Sean Payton getting votes. Yeah, I could see Canales in Carolina. Yeah, I could see Shanahan in San Francisco. I could see the guy in Seattle. Yeah, I mean, a whole bunch of guys who, if they got votes, you'd nod your head and go, yeah, did a hell of a job this year. But, Mark, it's why I might lean Cohen if the Jags win the South, because not only will he have taken them from a distant third-place team to a 12 or 13 win team this year, he will have overcome that fourth quarter collapse, in which I could argue nobody in the second half of the season will have done a better job of coaching. You blow a 19-point fourth quarter lead, and you run the table.
And they've done it by scoring 35 against the Chargers, 27 against the Cardinals, 25 against the Titans, 36 against the Colts, 48 against the lowly Jets, and 34 against what many think is the best defense in football. If not, it's a top three. You want to say Houston's defense is better? Sure. You want to say a few others? Fine. But they're a top three defense. They are. And Trevor Lawrence lit them up. And we've been waiting since Trevor Lawrence got to Jacksonville for Trevor Lawrence to start playing like this. And I don't know if it's the irony, David, but they lose Hunter, and that was two players, one on defense, one on offense. Now they made the trade for Jacoby Adams, and it's worked out well.
It's worked out really well. In fact, one of the underrated things that an NFL team did last week was the Jaguars signing Jacoby Myers to 3 for $60, guaranteeing the first 2 years. Now, think of their wide receiving core next year when everybody's healthy. Myers, Thomas, they got a number 3 guy developing, and in theory, Travis Hunter's your number 4. Life's going to be good for Trevor in Jacksonville for the rest of this decade. Thank you very much. But for the record, at this moment in time, and I don't think anything changes based on the results of tonight's game, Seattle's the 1, Chicago's the 2, Philly's the 3, Carolina's the 4, the Rams are the 5, the Niners are the 6, and the Packers are the 7. One Green Bay win or one Detroit loss clinches Green Bay in the playoffs. Meanwhile, in the AFC, Denver, despite the loss, still the 1 seed over New England, even though they're both tied. New England with the easier closing schedule. Don't they have the Jets and the Dolphins? The Patriots?
Yes.
To finish out the year?
You got
Jacksonville's the 3. Pittsburgh the 4. Pittsburgh wins in Cleveland this weekend. They win the North. Ravens are done. Chargers are the 5. Buffalo the 6. Houston right now the 7. With a 1.5 lead over Indianapolis. Boy, are they rooting for the Niners tonight.
Now, I will say, David, help me out here. And I don't, New England's got 2 games they should win, Jets and Dolphins. Denver's got KC and
they have the
Chargers.
Yeah.
If somehow the Jags run the table and both of those other 2 slip, the Jags would be the 1, right?
Well, that was the big picture significance last night. If the Patriots had not rallied in the fourth quarter, yes, they would have been tied with Buffalo, but they own the tiebreaker on Buffalo if they win out, because those are 2 division games. New England, if they posted a 13-4 and Buffalo did, New England would have a better division record. That's why New England's still very much in control of the East. But Mark, if New England had lost last night, then they would have the same number of losses as Jacksonville. And I believe Jacksonville would have the better conference record.
They currently do. They both have played 10 conference games. The Jags are 8-2. The Pats and the Broncos, for that matter, are 7-3.
And so, yes, Mark, it was set up when New England was down 2 scores in the fourth quarter that Jacksonville was going to need to win out and then hope that Denver lost one more game. And while it's unlikely to be Kansas City because of how injured the Chiefs are, down to a third-string quarterback now and clearly not motivated to play, but Denver's got the Chargers. Final week of the season, which if the Chargers win this coming week, will be for the AFC West. So, yes, Jacksonville, when New England was down 11, Jacksonville was, or 10, Jacksonville was looking at, no, they were down 11. They had the touchdown and 2-point conversion. When they were down 11, the Jags were flying home, checking the scores going, we ain't that far away from the 1. Because remember, if the Chargers had caught Denver, well, Jacksonville's beaten the Chargers. They've beaten Denver. They'd have a better conference record than the Patriots. So, yeah.
And it is fascinating that, and I know all the reasons why we're not talking about the Jags. I don't just mean Miller and Moulton. I mean nationally. But they've beaten a lot of good football teams this year.
Uh-huh.
I mean, go back and look at who the Jags have beaten this year.
Well, haven't they beaten San Francisco and San Francisco?
Yes.
Denver and Denver. By the way,
they beat the Chiefs in early October. And I know the Chiefs aren't making the playoffs, but in early October, the Chiefs were a better team than they are right now.
Right. When they beat them, they were still the Chiefs. How about that? Right.
I mean, they lost to the 2 teams right now that are the 2 favorites to win the Super Bowl, the Rams and the Seahawks. And the Seahawks was a close game. The Rams got them. Rams whooped them. But in the AFC, Jags are as alive as anybody in that conference. So Liam Cohen should be getting more consideration for Coach of the Year. And maybe that'll happen this week. Maybe the tide will turn because of their win at Denver and people will start looking at he and they differently.
I think this is a great season for the NFL. And I know that playoff ratings could be down a little bit because some of the marquee teams and players won't be in it. But I think it's awesome that the Patriots are going from worst to first. I think it's awesome the Bears are going from worst to first. Okay? I think it's awesome that the Niners are back being the Niners. They're a really popular team. All right? Carolina, they haven't won a playoff game in 10 years? Okay? They're in first. Denver hasn't won a playoff game in 10 years. Okay, the Jags doing what they're doing. I think this is awesome for the NFL because, Mark, what is it? Pat Kerwin's famous expression, you need to either win or provide hope. Well, this is hope on steroids this year in the NFL, which means how many teams and their fans, Mark, during the coming offseason are also going to have hope on steroids.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. Amazon. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yes, Yinzer. And not only that, if Green Bay wins, I think all 7 teams in the NFC will have clinched playoff spots, right? Trying to think, if the Niners lose tonight, is Detroit still alive? I don't think so. Because, yeah, San Francisco's conference record. They didn't play head-to-head, did they? Niners, Lions?
No.
No. So, yeah.
And it's a concussion left quick. So, no, I don't know any other information. It'll be later in the week if it's a concussion protocol and what have you.
They won't rush him back, though, because their odds of winning the division, they have to win 2 and have Chicago lose 2. Now, Chicago's got San Fran and Detroit, Yeah, they've got the running game going. Second half against the Dolphins. Shoved it up Detroit yesterday.
It reminds me of a line, though, when I was working for the Blades. Bob Ferguson would walk around in the parking lot between periods, and my dad would be out there smoking with some of the off-ice officials. He got to sneak back there, and Bob walked by where all the smokers were, and Blades were up 4-0 or whatever it was. And my dad just said something like, "Wow, looking pretty good tonight." And Bob looked at him and said, "Well, we're not exactly playing the Russian Red Army team." And so I think of that with the Steelers beating up on the Dolphins and the Detroit defense. So
Yeah, Yinzer, I wouldn't. Beat Cleveland, clinch your division, and then gives another week for Watt to recoup if he can come back.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour on this Overreaction Monday. Thanks so much for being with us. You think John Harbaugh is getting fired? Let's just assume they're not going to win the division. Therefore, they're going to miss the playoffs. If that scenario plays itself out, like earlier you said, Mark, you believe unless the Bucs win their last two games and win the South, that Todd Bowles is going to get fired. And I reluctantly agree with you.
I don't think he should, by the way. But I think he's going to.
I don't either, but I think he will. Do you think John Harbaugh, if the Steelers, in fact, win the North this year, do you think John Harbaugh is going to be fired?
Well, I'd be surprised because obviously he's been there a long time. This is not how this organization operates. They are as stable of a franchise as there might be in sports, David. I mean, seriously, the way they run their front office, they don't do things like this. They don't, Lamar's been hurt this year. Now, I will say why Derrick Henry, I know he fumbled earlier in the game and he's had a little bit of fumbleitis this year, but he didn't really touch the ball in the fourth quarter. I'm not sure what the reasoning there was.
Well, John Harbaugh was asked about it afterwards because I believe, when he put them up 11, he didn't touch the ball in the final 12 minutes of the game. And John Harbaugh said, yeah, that shouldn't have happened. He should have been out there because he wasn't on the field the final series either when they were down 28-24 and obviously needing a touchdown.
So I don't like when a coach says after the game, we shouldn't have done that. Why did you then? You're not a coordinator of any side where where you could be caught up in what you're doing, which is one of the reasons why Miller and Moulton aren't a big fan of coach coordinators. It works in certain situations. We get it. But things can be missed. But when you're not a coordinator, how does that get missed? How do you not get on your headset and say, why isn't Derrick Henry in?
Right. I agree. I think he's getting fired. And this is going to sound absurd. I actually think it's time for a change. First off, the Ravens have a problem holding leads. Doesn't matter who the defensive coordinator is. Okay, the only constant is the head coach. Now, I don't know if he deserves any of the blame, but the Ravens have a problem holding big fourth quarter leads. I mean, we've seen two such instances this year. The first game of the season, that 15-point fourth quarter lead in Buffalo, late, and then last night. And there are numerous other examples of just the Ravens blowing double-digit fourth quarter leads. And I thought it was very telling, Mark, late in the Steelers-Lions game when CBS put up a graphic that said, Mike Tomlin is 133-0-1 when he and the Steelers have a 12-point fourth quarter lead or more. And I'm thinking to myself, well, hell, the Ravens blow one of these games a year.
Well, I mean, of course he has that lead because you got to play against the Steelers and the referees at that point. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Fun. I mean, they only scored a couple of touchdowns.
So,
by the way, I figured out where I can really get under my wife's skin because we're watching that game together, and I kept calling the Steelers cheaters.
Oh, my goodness. Why would you do that?
Fun.
Wow. You don't think that that's maybe crossing the line?
No. Not only did it cross the line, she hit me. She hit me, and she said, why do you have to do that? That is just mean. That's not nice. That's almost like being told by your parent that you disappointed them.
No. There's nothing worse than that.
I said almost.
Nothing worse than that. I don't know if that even gets in the same area code, okay? When they look at you and go, I'm very disappointed in you. Oh, just stab me instead. Don't say that. No, and like hit a main artery too. Come on, no, don't do that.
But all right, just on that note, so the Giants have already gassed their coach. Pete Carroll could be done in Vegas. He could be.
Yeah,
Stefanski, we think, is getting fired. Is Aaron Glenn safe?
I think so. I think so, but I'm not 100%.
Arizona, he's getting fired.
Yeah, he is.
Tennessee already fired their coach. I think Dan Quinn's safe in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I think the guy in New Orleans is safe.
Oh, yeah.
Cincinnati, he's gone.
I think he is.
Miami, it looks as if McDaniel's staying. Atlanta, Raheem Morris, he's gone.
I think he is too.
I mean, Andy Reid's staying. Dallas isn't making a change. Baltimore, you think, is changing.
I do.
By the way, that would be 8. Tampa Bay makes 9.
Well, Mark, here's the problem with how great I think, and I don't know if you agree, how great this NFL season is. For every worst to first story, then what do? You create, well, we can change our coach and we could turn this sucker around next year. For every Vrabel in New England, for every Ben Johnson in Chicago.
Well, there's where you got it. Because, come on, we all, and I don't just mean the two hosts of this show. I mean most of you listening and everybody that does football for a living nationally were shocked when Vrabel got fired. And we all knew where he was going, and we all thought it was going to work.
Yeah, we all thought they'd win 8-9 games this year. We didn't think they'd be the Commanders, but it turns out they're doing exactly what the Commanders did last year. In fact, they're going to go a step further because they're going to win their division and not finish second.
But the Commanders obviously made a great playoff run last year. We'll see if the Patriots can equal that. But, it's funny. You're talking about Harbaugh, and I think Tomlin's safe. I don't think he's getting fired. But there were a lot of people wondering who, even if they creep into the playoffs and lose in the first round, because what did Rooney say? We're sick of this going to the playoffs and losing crap. But the Ben Johnsons, the Liam Cohens, those are the ones,
right?
That, for all the coordinators that get the job and fail, Aaron Glenn's failing. Ben Johnson's doing fantastically. But for all the coordinators that fail and have never coached before, and, you got Pat Kerwin coming on our show twice a week going, a guy can't just go do it in his first year. It's not that easy. Well, what have we had? That's some first-year guys that are getting it done. Canales very early on. He looks like he's going to win a division. So it is fascinating to me as you look ahead with all of these jobs. There's not retreads to fill all the jobs that are going to be open. They're going to go the coordinator route.
And once again, who gets blamed first? The coach or the GM? I mean, think about it. In Baltimore, it turns out that they counted on some guys to rush the passer who just didn't get it done. I mean, heading into a game a week ago, they didn't have a single starting defensive lineman with more than 3 sacks on the roster. I mean, that's a GM problem. But it's also, do you question the position coaches? Do you question the defensive coordinator? What's going on here? How come guys who have been more productive are less productive this year? It's why I think there's going to be change in Baltimore. I mean, Mark, you and I both thought we had a guy who was Vinny Serrato, GM in the league, covers the Ravens. He agreed with us right before the season started. Best roster in the league. Mark, they're going to have a losing record and miss the playoffs. And are you going to blame it all on the fact that Lamar was hurt for 6 weeks?
You're on to something, David. I have trouble seeing them making change because it's not what they do. I would take the bet reluctantly, but you may end up having the last laugh. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
This December, watch the nation's best high school basketball players compete in the City of Palms Classic. Fort Myers will once again welcome future college and NBA stars as they square off at Suncoast Arena from December 18th through the 23rd. Come see Southwest Florida's own Bishop Verreau versus Barron Collier on Sunday night, December 21st. For tournament information, please visit cityofpalmsclassic.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it
Mark
real.
Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
No, Sonny, no one does. I guess other than you, but no. I don't think so. I've not heard anyone ever say it. He's not coaching. Bill Belichick's never coaching the NFL again, ever. Yes, he probably is. But Sonny, I don't know what I mean, do you want me to agree with you for agreeing sake, or what is it you're looking for? He's never going to coach in the NFL again.
You talking Belichick?
Yeah, I mean, if you want me to change my mind, so you're right, I'll do it, because apparently that's what I need to do in here, is make sure I agree with everything you guys say. But he's never, if he didn't get the Falcons job, he's out. Plenty of people, a lot smarter than I, have said he's never coaching in the NFL again. I tend to agree with that.
I'll say this. If he's going to get back in the NFL, it'll be this year.
And I don't think the Brady and Belichick connection's a good one. I don't think Brady wants Belichick there.
I think there's two places that will seriously contemplate kicking the Belichick tires: the Giants and the Falcons.
If the Falcons didn't take him last time, I don't think they take him this time, but I know what you're saying.
And I think because they didn't take him 2 years ago and the 2 years have gone the way they've gone, that Arthur Blank this time may just say, we're taking him this time. Deal with it. And I will say, if the Giants were to make the right hire, the Giants could have a huge bounce back next year. I mean, their 2 wins are against the Chargers and the Eagles. They had double-digit fourth quarter leads against the Bears, against the Broncos. I mean,
need your quarterback to stay healthy for a whole year, and there's
Yep.
no guarantees there.
no,
But with the receiver coming back, I don't know if Scadaboo's good, great, bad, whatever, but I mean that receiver is a difference maker, and he's been gone all year.
the offensive line actually grades out pretty well for the first time in 9 years. If they had just won the games they had double-digit leads in the fourth quarter that they lost, they'd be 7-8.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. On this Overreaction Monday, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. And what's there to overreact about? Well, I think John Harbaugh is getting fired. In 18 seasons, he's been the head coach there. Only Tomlin with 19 has been in his current place more, but I think John Harbaugh is getting fired. Andy Reid came out and said he's definitely coming back. For those that thought he might retire, that ain't happening. At least not for one more year. We'll see how it goes. But if you were Marcus Freeman, a lot of noise about him and the Giants. This is just a Marcus Freeman question. This isn't a Giants question. This isn't hiring a college coach question. Mark, you are Marcus Freeman. You interested in the Giants job?
Yes, I am. For a lot of reasons. One, first off, let's find out how interested he is in the NFL. I mean, that's the first thing. Is he?
I'm asking you. No, I'm asking you. If you're Marcus Freeman.
Oh, yeah, I'm interested in coaching in the National Football League. Hell yeah. Oh, I get to go from Notre Dame, one of the great jobs in all of football, to coaching in New York. Yes, I'm interested.
Oh, okay. All right, because we've talked about it. We don't know that there's many better college jobs than the one he's got. With the rules the way they are now, okay, that's as great as that job has been since Holtz was winning the Natty there in the late 80s.
There's no doubt, but it's not the NFL. If the aspirations are to coach at the highest level, you get in with a Giants team that's going to have an early, bunch of draft picks and some players. I don't like the fact that Dart leads with his head too damn much, but I think they have a quarterback. They've got a number one receiver. They've got a decent offensive line. Now, they missed on the guy on defense because he doesn't look like he's maybe he'll figure it out.
Who, Carter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jury's still out there, yeah.
Exactly. It's too early to tell. So far, the early returns are not good. He seems to be a little bit of a malcontent, to say the very least.
Yeah.
But that can be fixed. And sometimes a new coach can fix that. I mean,
sure. But so the job interests you is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
So you would leave Notre Dame for the Giants. Because this just in, and I'm being very serious about this. If the Giants offer you the job and you don't take it, no NFL team's going to offer you their job again. And I'm not saying it because the Giants are this great franchise and what have you. But they're a top 10 franchise in the league. And we all know why. And based on what we've seen this year in New England and last year in Washington, there's a lot to work with there. That sucker could be turned around very quickly. Very soft division outside of the Eagles, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just saying.
I'm interested. Is
okay.
he? We have no idea.
Right. Now, I will say he hasn't shot it down at all. He and his agent have not shot down any of the supposed interest that the Giants have in him.
And let's be honest, it was, I mean, the everything set up very well for Notre Dame going forward. It was not a good weekend for Notre Dame. When Miami and Alabama both win, it's not a good weekend for Notre Dame.
Right. The two teams who got bids at your expense and they won ...
And the complaining by Notre Dame in the aftermath of not making the playoff made them look bad. And that's fine. You can get over looking bad. But in the bowl game, to me, is insignificant. I know to a lot of you, it really bothers you. It does not bother David and I. It didn't from the get-go. It doesn't now. But the one thing with all of the complaining that the Fighting Irish did is it made everybody that covered college football start pointing out how soft the Notre Dame schedule is next year. And voters are going to remember that. They are not getting the benefit of the doubt from the AP voters next year. Now, the College Football Playoff Committee can do their own thing. We know that. But typically when you go into a year, Notre Dame gets every benefit of every doubt when it comes to the voters, David. They're not going to get that heading into this year. They're not. Mark my words. And that's on them.
I do not think Marcus Freeman is going to be the next coach of the Giants. I don't think he's going to be offered the job. I do think he will interview. And I think he will use it to his advantage at Notre Dame. Because he can then tell everybody who's there and everybody who he's working on to come there. Hey, man, the Giants wanted to hire me. The New York Football Giants. Yeah, I know they've had a rough decade, but there aren't many franchises won more Super Bowls than them, just saying. And they offered me their job, and I said, no, I'd rather coach you at Notre Dame. What do you say? And I think it's going to be a big coup for him when he stays. A big coup for him when he stays.
We'll see how that shakes down. I mean, obviously they've got the quarterback. It starts there. Notre Dame lived in the portal and they have a certain type of kid. They're very limited in what they can get in the portal. It's really the grad transfer. And they had been doing that for quarterbacks for a couple of years. Now they've got one. So we'll see going forward. But trust me, the AP voters are not going to give them any breaks because of the schedule that they have next year.
Speaking of the portal, did you see the story The Athletic did over the weekend in which they broke down roster construction for this year in college football? What percentage of the playoff teams' players came from recruiting and starts that came from transfers, i.e. the portal? Did you see that story?
I did not, David. I have a little snafu with my athletic account right now.
Georgia, of the 12 teams that made the playoff, far and away the number one program of recruiting, making up the majority of their roster and the majority of their starts. 90% of all the starts for Georgia this year, 13 games, 90% of the starters were from recruiting, 10% from transfer. Ohio State was second at 72% to 28%. Think about that. Ohio State's getting over 1 out of 4 from outside the program. And they're recruiting top 3 every damn year. Oklahoma's third at 68%. Think about that. Only 3 of the 12 playoff teams got 2/3 of their starts from kids they recruited. Bama was fourth at 63%, Oregon at 57%, James Madison at 57%, Texas A&M at 55%. 7 of the 12 teams got 50 or more percent of their starts from kids they recruited. 5 of the 12 got more starts this year from the portal. Miami, 46 to 54. So that's 54% from the portal. Tulane, 45-55. Texas Tech, 37-63. Indiana, and this to me is the great question going forward, 35-65. Hey, he's nailed it. The 13 kids from James Madison, back-to-back years with one-year quarterbacks. He's a great coach, obviously. But, live by the portal. Can you die by the portal? We've seen it happen in Tallahassee.
State. Right. Ask Florida State.
And Mark, Indiana was 35-65. They were 11th. Ole Miss was 34-66.
And
two-thirds of Ole Miss starts this year by kids they did not recruit.
And that's why Lane's at LSU. That's why. The money was there at Ole Miss. We knew it all along. We knew they would match. It was never going to be a problem for Ole Miss to pay the coach. It's not a problem for Ole Miss to pay the players. But if you want to do it year in and year out, of all those schools you mentioned, who are the 2 most consistent schools? The Buckeyes and the Dogs.
By the way, a team who would be right in between the Buckeyes and the Dogs, Notre Dame. 85% of their starts this year came from recruits, only 15% from the portal.
And it will always be that way there, by the way.
Right. Texas, by the way, was 83-17. So 5 out of every 6 starts that they had was by Texas recruits and not the portal. Michigan, for what it's worth, 75-25. USC was basically 66-34. So they went through the teams that made the playoffs, and then they kind of gave you like a dozen or so of the top teams this year who didn't make the playoff,
and gave you
their ratio.
USC, either first or second in recruiting this past year. Michigan, they had a top 11 class that they signed right before they fired their head coach. Oh, just a reminder how they operate there.
And that's why keep this in mind. Vanderbilt, 59% from the portal. Virginia, 61% from the portal. Georgia Tech, 56% from the portal.
Although Georgia Tech's been getting better at recruiting schools, Georgia Tech's been getting it done on the recruiting trail. The one that makes me the most worried is Miami, because Miami if you think about it, to me, they should be closer to the Texases and the Ohio States. Cristobal can recruit. Yeah, you're getting players in the portal, but it should supplement what you're doing on the recruiting trail.
I will say what was a really good feather in Cristobal's cap, Mark, about what you just talked about. If we were to go back and name the top 4 players in the game from Miami against Texas A&M, they were all South Florida kids he got out of high school. All of them. From the running back to the defensive end to the wide receiver, okay? Oh, I mean, the best players in the biggest game they've played in over 20 years were all from what Schnellenberger talked about 40-something years ago, the state of Miami.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if that quarterback can keep the state of Miami moving forward, because he's going to have to play a whole hell of a lot better than he did against Texas A&M. There were guys there, and I know people complain about the play calling in that game, and I understand it, but there were 2 factors there. Beck's not hitting guys when they were open, and he had them. A bomb, a play over the middle that didn't continue drives on 3rd down. I mean, that's part of it. But he's got to play better. And I do think the fact that those 30-mile-an-hour winds blowing around at Kyle Field made it difficult on both offenses in that game. Can we just chalk it up and say, hey, these defenses were really good, and the conditions were not conducive to throwing the ball all over the lot?
And oh, by the way, the game within the game, reportedly, take it for what it's worth, but the Dominic Raiola sweepstakes, the Nebraska quarterback, a lot of people think it's down to A&M and Miami. Just curious, if you're Raiola and you watch that game, did that game have any influence on where it is you may go?
Oh, by the way, for all of you that are complaining about this in your car and you're yelling at the radio or your phone or whatever the case may be, you know, we can end how many kids jump in the portal every year if we make them, what's that word we're looking for, David?
I believe it's employees.
Ah, that's it. That's it. Then you can sign them to a 3-year deal, and they can't just up and leave after every year. But you don't want that as a school. It's the little thing we don't talk about. The school likes the one and done. The fan may not like it. The school's never had a problem with 1-year deals. It's how the sport's operated forever. Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best,
Be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. This December, watch the nation's best high school basketball players compete in the City of Palms Classic. Fort Myers will once again welcome future college and NBA stars as they square off at Suncoast Arena from December 18th through the 23rd. Come see Southwest Florida's own Bishop Verreau versus Barron Collier on Sunday night, December 21st. For tournament information, please visit cityofpalmsclassic.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Ryan, I disagree with you. It was third down when they scored the touchdown. If they get stopped, they kick a field goal. First off, did you really want to send that kicker out there again? I didn't want to see that kid out on the field the rest of the day. Okay, they could have, but it was third and medium. I mean, Ryan, you've struggled offensively all day, but you're good enough to get a first down, but not a touchdown. I didn't want to see that kicker out on the field the rest of the game. So Ryan, the kid from Oklahoma hadn't missed a kick all year. He'd missed 3 out of 4 kicks. I wanted no part of him. That team hadn't scored a touchdown all day. If you can't keep him out of the end zone, hated the rough in the passing call. Oh, my God. Well, Ryan, we disagree. Dead struck. I have a feeling Becht and all those Iowa State kids are going to Penn State.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the fourth and final hour, the bonus hour, as we call it, of Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X, presented by the Diamond District. Hey, you need a last-second, gift. You're in the hole here. You're behind. Do a lot worse.
It's it'll be busy, but it's not like going to the other places. You'll get good service. You'll be attended to. I mean, you can go to a lot of places right now where you're not going to get service. They've had it. I mean, they've just had it with you. Go try it. You know what? Diamond District or any of the big boxes where you go to like the perfume aisle, those women don't want anything to do with you anymore. They've had it. They've had it with you. They don't want anything to do with you. About 4 places I think you can go right now and get good service. As far as in a store. I mean, restaurants, you bartenders, you've all had it too, and I get it.
So just throwing that out there. Proud sponsors of the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton. On this Overreaction Monday, we've talked obviously a lot of football, both college and pro. Down to the quarterfinals in college. Nearly 15 full weeks, really 16 weeks, but 15 games in the books. Niners and Colts tonight to wrap up week 16 so that everybody's got 15 games played. And if the Niners can beat the Colts, man, we have what? 2 teams in the AFC that have clinched playoff berths, Denver and New England. It goes from 2 to 5.
Right.
If Indy loses tonight. Jags, Bills, Chargers, playoffs, automatic with an Indy loss tonight. I still like all their chances.
We've still got, so there's only 2 spots available in the NFC, which that won't change after tonight. But the Packers have to lose out, and Detroit has to win out.
Correct. Now, the Packers have Baltimore at home, and it is an interesting situation in which the Ravens and Packers are playing on Saturday, and so a Green Bay win eliminates the Lions, and a Baltimore loss gives the Steelers the AFC North. So, we could have 2 mysteries, if you will, answered by one of the Saturday games before we get to more of the meat and potatoes on Sunday.
And with Love getting a concussion, we won't know probably till later in the week what his availability is going to be for Saturday.
And the same with Lamar, who left the Ravens-Patriots game with a back injury, and he was less than 100% before then. I would not play Jordan Love unless he was cleared. Because I'm probably making the playoffs if I'm the Packers, and I'm probably going to be a wild card. I need them ready for the playoffs. I ain't forcing the issue at home against Baltimore because I'm in good shape. There's only one scenario that keeps me out of the playoffs. I don't even know if Detroit can win their last 2 games.
I don't either.
So I'm not forcing the
by
issue.
the way. No, and all right. Stop me if you just think I'm totally nuts. And I don't know if he is signed for next year, but Malik Willis looked pretty good.
He looked good last year. Remember, they acquired him?
I know.
They had to press him into action right away. He got 2 wins. He came into a game in relief, didn't get credit for the win, but led him to a win in that game.
He looked good there.
I mean, outside of the fumbled snap.
But it's not his fault the onside kick was that they got the onside kick. That doesn't happen.
And not his fault that the defense gave up the touchdown. I mean, they were a play away from beating the Bears twice. I don't know about, and please, I'm not taking anything away from the Bears. All right? This is awesome, the season that they're having. And it's a fan base that deserves it, and then some. But even Bears fans, I think, are watching this season going, wow, this is the year where we are just pulling stuff out of, yeah.
And good for them. Because
Yes.
this year you obviously didn't. I already talked about the Washington game earlier in the show. So good for them.
Also, when's the last time the Bears have won a playoff game? I mean, is it Lovey in 2010 when they hosted the NFC title game against Green Bay? Seriously, have the Bears won a playoff game since? You know, they had the doink game against the Eagles. They were 8-8 when they made it the 1 year, lost to the Saints. Okay. So, I mean, you know, the Bears are having one of those years where they're winning all the close games. And hell, how many come from behind wins do they have? It's like the most in franchise history. Great. Just keep that in mind, though. You know, no matter how gaudy this record gets, no matter what their seed, no matter what happens in the playoffs, I hope that when the Bears are looking at their team, they look at it and go, man, we had everything go our way last year. We probably have a little more wrong than the record says. We need to nitpick a little bit here.
And if you don't beat San Francisco, the odds, you know, I think Philadelphia has one more conference win right now. So that game, big for the Bears, they could end up as the 3. You know, if they don't beat the Niners, they could very well end up as the 3. I don't know how much of a difference that makes. I don't. 3-6, 2-7. I don't know how much of a difference it makes in the NFC, David. I don't.
Well, I'll say this. It could be the difference between playing an interdivision first-round game or playing somebody from the NFC West.
That's why I said I don't know how much of a difference it makes. I mean, they could obviously exercise a lot of demons if they were to beat Green Bay in the postseason, but I don't think the level of opponent changes a whole hell of a lot. That's all I'm really saying.
Well, if I'm Chicago, I really want to be the 2 because I'd much rather play the Packers without Micah, with Jordan Love's inconsistencies. I'd much rather face the Packers, who I know very well, than play some combination of Seattle, the Rams, or the Niners.
Okay.
And also, then in theory, I've got home field if I get by it to play Philly. So
I got you. I'm just saying from a first round game. I get beyond.
No, I know.
I just don't think there's much difference. Outside of whoever wins the NFC South, I don't think there's much difference in the NFC.
No, I could see where you're coming from there. The records certainly say so.
Hell, you could say that. I mean, you really can say the same thing, particularly after Jacksonville beat Denver yesterday. I mean, who is it in the AFC you're most sold on? Love Denver at home if they get home field. We all understand the altitude. But Jacksonville just showed a recipe for beating Denver.
Oh, no, this is as wide open a playoff year as the NFL has had this century. I mean, that's why I think this is spectacular. I really do. And I don't know if future years are going to be this wide open. I'm, Mark, as a fan, looking at this year and treating it as a one-off. We have so many worst to first or third place to first stories that are going on this year. Far more than normal, number one. And number two, we have big-time marquee quarterbacks that ain't playing in January. Oh, that's not been the recent formula. Recent formula is you need a big-time marquee quarterback to get to January, particularly in the AFC. But even in the NFC, even if Seattle's the one, you really sold on Sam Darnold in the playoff game? And hey, listen, The kid in Chicago, he made two great plays at the end of that game and in overtime. I mean, I don't know if he'll make a better throw in his life than the overtime game winner. I mean, 62 yards in the air with about 4 inches for margin of error. I mean, it was an amazing throw.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was perfect.
You know, Bryce Young right now is in the playoffs. Jordan Love is in the playoffs. Now, Stafford and Purdy are in the playoffs. Hurts is in the playoffs. There's a lot more known quantities at quarterback in the NFC playoffs than there is in the AFC playoffs. Denver's quarterback doesn't have a playoff win. New England's quarterback doesn't have a playoff win. Jacksonville's has got one. The Chargers playoff quarterback doesn't have a playoff win. You got Allen, Rodgers, and CJ Stroud, who hasn't won a road playoff game, and right now all their playoff games are going to be on the road.
And I find it interesting. You brought up Hurts. I do find it interesting because the Eagles obviously have the pedigree. An Eagle fan is so annoyed with the Eagles. I don't know if they are just quietly now looking at this going, no one's talking about us. Maybe we shouldn't talk about us either. Because with the way the Seahawks and Rams played on Thursday night, and, the Commanders were there for a half a minute with the Eagles. The Eagles ended up blowing them out. But no one's bringing up the Eagles right now. Everybody's talking about the West and the Bears. Mm-hmm. And part of me thinks the Eagles, and if I'm the Eagles, I'm enjoying all the talk about everybody but us right now.
Really hoping to be the 2, though, if I'm Philly. Really hoping to be the 2. We beat Green Bay at our place last year in the playoffs. That's the 2-7 matchup right now for whoever can be the 2 is Green Bay. I think you'd much rather see the Packers than Stafford or Purdy and the Rams-Niners.
Miller and Moulton. Text line open at 21,000. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day when and what's on tap with system plays still ahead. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real. The 2025 Industry Appreciation Awards in Fort Myers have wrapped up, but the celebration of business excellence continues, hosted by the Lee County Economic Development Office, Horizon Council, and Horizon Foundation. This annual event honors the innovators, job creators, and community builders driving the region forward. Visit industryappreciationawards.com to see this year's winners and learn how local businesses are shaping a stronger, more resilient economy for Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I was wrong. I was fooled by a neutral site game. There is no system plays tonight. Should have known better.
Tough to get them this time of year.
Well, Illinois, Missouri, actually a decent game.
Is it a true road game?
No, it's not. It's a neutral site. So I got fooled. It's a neutral site game.
They played in St. Louis?
Yep. I need a new computer. It's time. They're telling me to. I'm on Windows 10. It doesn't even, I can't even use, I don't even get support anymore. Ay, ay, ay.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour on this Overreaction Monday. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. I know this is a little off the beaten path, although you look like you had something you wanted to say there.
No, I was just going to say I learned something on the show today.
What's that?
I mentioned earlier in the show, I did a lot of cooking. Yeah, like we had kind of my daughter and I did a lot together yesterday. The wife made the cutout cookies. The daughter and I did all the decorating, which made the wife happy because she could do other things, and we were doing our thing. And then we made cannoli. I earlier said cannolis, and someone corrected me that cannoli is the plural of, I guess, cannolo or something like that, which means small tube in Italian. I had to double check and look it up. So I appreciate the texter on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line telling me that cannoli is plural. I didn't know that. So I learned something today. Okay. I always learn a little something on this show. Usually it's, who won like the volleyball natty from you during the starting five.
Right. That would be Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm. So I usually learn something there, like who won the NASCAR race.
Right. Got to wait about 6-7 more weeks for that. So, crazy idea. I have at least one a show. So we've been talking about, the good teams today, college football playoff, teams that are in or on the verge of making the NFL playoffs and potential matchups and all that. Well, there's the other side. I have to admit, this is, I don't know, maybe this says a lot about me and not in a good way. But, there's a lot of games that are going to get a lot of network attention coming up. Mark, and this is a drop-dead serious question. A week from tonight, Monday Night Football has the Rams at Falcons. Would you rather have Rams at Falcons or Giants at Raiders?
Giants at Raiders.
How could you not?
I mean, for you, it's the shortest flight you have all year.
It is.
For you, I would like it to stay the same simply so you only have to go to Atlanta. You can fly direct to about 4 places from Jacksonville that have an NFL team.
Right.
So the fact that you have a short, direct flight,
Right.
I would like the game to stay the same for you.
But the number one pick of the draft is at stake when they play, I think it's this coming Sunday. In Vegas, Giants at Raiders. The Giants are technically on the clock at the moment, but obviously the loser of Sunday's game will jump into the lead, and a solid lead, for the number one overall pick of the draft. All right. Humor me more than you normally do. And I will preface this by saying Mark Miller does not believe in trading for coaches.
You don't want to trade for Tomlin, do you, for the Giants?
It wasn't Tomlin. Okay. What if the phone rang in Los Angeles, and let's just say it's the Giants, because they feel they already have a quarterback going forward. You know, the Raiders, they don't have a quarterback. They really need the number one overall pick to get their quarterback. In theory, the Giants have theirs.
Quickly, if the Giants beat the Raiders and the Raiders are in the hole for the first overall pick, they do play the Chiefs week 18, and the Chiefs are on a third-string quarterback. So I'm just saying that there's a way for the Cleveland Browns to back into the first overall pick. Just keeping that out there. There's a bunch of 3-12 teams, but Cleveland, the worst of that bunch.
Right.
Sorry, David, move on.
Cleveland, the Jets, the Titans, and the Cardinals, the 3-12s that are still in play. But what if the team with the first overall pick of the draft called the Rams and said, we'll give you the number one pick for McVay? Is there a coach out there? Now, to you, the answer is probably no way. You don't like it. Okay. Green Bay with Matt LaFleur.
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
God, no. Are you kidding me? I
well,
wouldn't give a 7th round pick for him.
Wow. For a guy who's been there 7 years and wins 2/3 of his games. Okay.
He's great in the playoffs, too.
Not a lot of guys are. I mean, you know, quarterbacks, coaches, just saying. I mean, everybody think Nick Sirianni can't suck enough, you know, and he's going to have one of the gaudiest playoff records of all time. But I'm just curious, is there a coach? We've seen the importance of coaching this year. I mean, in New England, Chicago, Jacksonville. I mean, come on now. We've seen the significance of coaching. Is there a coach out there, Mark, that you would pick up the phone with a drop-dead serious offer of, we'll give you the first pick of the draft for your coach?
No, I don't subscribe to that philosophy. I don't, and I never will.
Okay. So there's
first overall pick.
Right.
But by the way, for a coach.
Well, just saying.
No.
If you already have your quarterback, I mean, you're drafting a defensive lineman, a wide receiver, you know, a running, but you know what I'm getting at here.
Yeah, I'll take a left tackle for 10 years. Sorry, that's where I'd rather go. I mean, I just wouldn't do it. I know you would. You and I have a difference of philosophy when it comes to this. And David, and I'm not being a jerk here, there's nothing you're ever going to say. We can do this for 10 more years, and I would never change my opinion on this.
Well, it's why I brought it up. You know, this is obviously a massive offer. You know, this isn't Tampa Bay offering the Raiders 2 first-round picks and more, which they did for Gruden. Those were picks in the 20s. You know, I'm offering you the first pick of the draft. for blank, whether you think it's Tomlin, whoever all of you listening think is the best coach in the NFL, whoever it is, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Mike Tomlin, whoever you think it is, Mike Vrabel, whatever.
Now, I will play the other side of this. Let's just give me this, for instance. The Rams win the last game of the season.
Right.
And Matt Stafford is going to decide to ride off into the sunset. If I were the Rams, I would consider doing it.
Does it matter if he is or not, because he's going to ride off soon?
No, I know. And I would be more apt to do it if I were the Rams than I were if I were the Giants. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. And let me tell you, if I was the Giants, I couldn't give away the first overall pick of the draft fast enough for Sean McVay. Oh, my goodness. And by the way, who do you want to be your GM? You get to pick him too, because goodness knows our brain trust can't pick the right guys. So to me, I feel as if I'm getting a coach and a GM with the first overall pick of the draft.
I think Ryan in the chat room makes an excellent point of all teams to really consider that. And, the Rams don't value draft picks the way other teams do. So the Rams are probably the wrong team. Maybe San Francisco, maybe that's who you want. I mean, if you think about someone who's done more with injuries and all the things that have happened, you've got to look at how the Niners run their organization. But I think Ryan makes an excellent point.
Now, the Rams use those draft picks for, first overall for Goff, and then that and another one to get Stafford. Remember, we're talking about getting a quarterback here.
The holidays are here, and we're wall to wall with thousands of GIA diamonds, 350 diamond bracelets, 225 pair of diamond studs, and thousands of other fine jewelry pieces, including Rolex watches.
And this is where Todd and I come in. We're in the store, right here with you, making sure you get the best value.
With this kind of selection and us guiding you through it, your gift will be the star of the season.
Visit the Diamond District today. Hablamos Español.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
We will be taking off the 24th and 25th, buried in bourbon. And we will be taking off the 31st and 1st. I will be gone the 30th as well. So David is doing the 30th. I think David's just flying solo on the 30th. EB. Trent's got his job. He can't really.
Funny thing is, Trent may be doing the final hour by himself.
Yeah, Trent likes being home more than he likes all of us. Don't kid yourself. I love him to death, but he's no further along in his career where he is now since when he left. In fact, you could argue he's further behind. Felipe's further ahead. He's got a career going.
I had to beg him into taking that.
Felipe?
He didn't want to. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I think the one thing he should do, David, I think I told you this. I ran into one of my camera guys at the Michigan State ECU game that I hired to do Everblades games. He's made a career. There are two guys that I hired here locally. I made sure they got on the All-Star game when we had the Panthers, director come over. We had a real broadcast. They've stayed in the business ever since. On the back end. I think Felipe, if he could get something there, I think he could get into sports that way. No, he is not dating that girl anymore. They are done.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the long distance thing, they've been done for a while. The long distance thing didn't work. He said it was very amicable. They're still friends. It wasn't working with one in Orlando and one in Miami.
He does love himself Miami.
He does. That's why I think if he ever got a gig where he was doing camera work for the Heat, I think he'd be the happiest guy in the world.
It's why I pushed him hard to take the job. I'm like, dude, you're working where you want to work.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till we're out of here on this Overreaction Monday. Pat Kerwin will join us tomorrow, plus an exclusive interview with the big fella before he arrives on Thursday. Took a lot of doing, but Pat Kerwin and the big fella coming up tomorrow.
I know I got my crap to do here, but I know you're aware of this because you sent out a text. Michigan State played Oakland University. They do it every year around Christmas time.
Yep.
Greg Campy's the head coach at Oakland. He and Izzo are really good friends. They started not only playing one another around Christmas time, but wearing the Christmas sweaters and wearing essentially matching sweaters.
Right.
If you have not seen the pictures, I suggest you go look them up.
Yes. 'Cause
Izzo had the naughty sweater on where he
Right.
was yelling at an official. Campy had on the nice sweatshirt where he was shaking the hand of the official. Campy lost, as you know what, a couple of times during the game. The game was pretty close throughout. I mean, it was a pretty good game. And Michigan State pulled away late. But Campy a couple of times expressed his frustration with the officials. Is that a polite way of saying it, David?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So after the game, they go do their presser together. I mean, this is how good of friends they are. They are side by side for the post-game presser. And I get it. You're all watching something else as well. You should be. And it was across from, I think, the Miami A&M game. And Izzo called Campy because he was being the ass out there. He was the one yelling. I don't know why I've got the naughty sweatshirt on. But then Campy talked about Izzo, and it was, look, and I love Izzo because that's where I went to school. But Campy loves him more because he said he's done two different things each of the last 2 years to help them generate all kinds of money for their program. And Izzo has helped Campy at Oakland generate enough money for his program that he can go out and pay players. And he said so. Just thought that was that post-game presser, we got a little more behind the scenes than you ever get, David.
But it was great to see naughty and nice sitting next to one another.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
All right. We start today in 1882. The first string of Christmas tree lights. You know who did it, don't you? Edison. He did everything else.
Golly. That's a tough act to follow, Thomas Alva.
It really is.
Man, oh, man.
It really is. The USGA formed today in 1894. The Mummy, the first Mummy horror film, today released in 32. The Lincoln Tunnel opened to traffic today in 1937. That seems like kind of a marvel in 1937. I don't know about you, David, but a tunnel under the Hudson in 1937 seems like a hell of an accomplishment.
Mark, I think all those bridges and tunnels are marvels in 2025.
Thank you. 1958, the Christmas novelty single, the Chipmunk Song, reaches number 1.
Of course it did.
It is the only holiday chart topper until 2019, when All I Want for Christmas Is You hit number 1. Dr. Zhivago, released today in 1965. My neighbor Eric would always call it Dr. Chicago. Whenever I see it, that's all I ever think of. A Miller and Moulton all-time favorite movie. It would go on the short list of our all-time favorite movies. It would be top 10 for sure. It might be top 5. The Graduate, released today in 1967.
Holds up really well.
Got one word for you. Plastics. Phil Esposito becomes the 6th NHLer to score 500. He did so today in 74.
Jesus saves, but Espo scores on the rebound. How great was that?
David's favorite karaoke song went to number 1 today in 84. That would be Madonna's Like a Virgin.
Ooh.
I know. It was actually Vogue. I got it.
Right. And a few others, but, you know, that got you out on the dance floor, though.
Brett Hall scored number 500 today in 96, obviously becoming the first father-son combo to get to 500 goals. And I did this only for David today, just to rub a little salt in the wound. I mean, why shouldn't I? It was today in 2003 that the New York Knicks hire Isaiah Thomas as president of basketball operations.
Wow. Make sure you tell me the anniversary of the Giants hiring Joe Shane when that comes up, okay?
Will do. Connie
Oh,
Mack,
Lord.
David Pearson, Maurice and Robin Gibb, and Ray Guy would have all celebrated birthdays today. Steve Carlton's 81, Steve Garvey 77, Jan Stevenson is 74, Uncle Luke, Luther Campbell 65, and Ted Cruz is 55. Didn't you think Ted Cruz was older than that?
Yes.
That gray beard, I thought for sure he was. I mean, he
Listen,
doesn't look 50. He looks way older than, maybe if he just shaved.
Steve Garvey looks better today than Ted Cruz does, and he's what, 22 years older?
Agree 100%.
Garvey ran for governor of California last year. He looked terrific.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
For the good today, we'll go to Florida via North Carolina. I'm sorry, we go to North Carolina, not Florida. I saw a hurricane. I immediately thought it was Florida. But Hurricane Helene dumped all that water. And family lost their cat. They were reunited with the cat 443 days later. The Avery Humane Society confirmed on Facebook that Gabby the cat was reunited with its family. For the bad, we go to the Pacific Northwest, where they've had a lot of rain. And in Seattle and in King County, they issued a public health department warning that the floodwaters have swept rodents into the sewer system and that people may have rats coming through their toilets. How much fun would that be to sit down and take your daily dose and have a rat come bubbling up from underneath?
No. Mm-mm.
Rat or snake? What would freak you out more, David?
Oh, snake.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mark, there's not much in life that freaks me out more than a snake.
Finally, the ugly, we go to Harvard, where a former manager of the Harvard Medical School was sentenced to 8 years in prison for stealing and selling body parts. Cedric Lodge had shipped brains, skin, hands, and faces to buyers of cadavers that were no longer needed for research. His wife was sentenced to over a year in prison for assisting him in the ghoulish fiend. And that, David, is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, December the 22nd, here on Miller and Moulton, brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Jobs available, not just police officers, but other jobs. Great pay, great benefits. All information can be had where, David?
CapeCops.com. That's CapeCops.com.
I jumped the gun earlier. There is no system play today. I saw Illinois listed as the road team against Missouri, but it's a neutral site game in St. Louis. So no system plays in college hoop. Bunch of ranked teams play today, which is unusual for this time of year. I would say the Illinois-Missouri game the best of the bunch, but everybody else is at home.
Lightning are in action tonight. I believe they're taking on St. Louis.
2-6-1 in their last 9, I believe, are the Lightning. A little bit of a skid here.
Yeah, after that great stretch. Blues,
Right.
one of the few teams that are below 500 in the NHL. NBA, there's a few games tonight. The Peacock doubleheader. Hornets, Cavs at 7. Okay, I'll make a prediction. Cavs lose at home to the Hornets. Somebody's getting fired. I mean, the
I don't
Hornets,
think you're off with that prediction.
the
They are-
Hornets are 9-19. Okay, and the Cavs are slumping. They're barely above 500. They're supposed to be the best team in the East this year. They had the best record in the East last year. The second game is Memphis at OKC. Boy, the Thunder, 3 losses in their first 28 games. They've really hit the skids. Orlando's in Golden State to take on Steph and company. College hoop tonight. Anything we like?
No.
Anything worth watching?
I mean, I think the Illinois Missouri game's not half bad.
It's in St. Louis. It's 8 o'clock on FS1. It's the only game involving ranked teams. All the other games don't look very competitive if you look at the point spread.
Florida State hosting Jacksonville. They're a 26.5-point favorite.
Tonight, Niners and Colts. San Fran, a 5.5-point road favorite. That's a big number against a winning team. And remember, the Colts went to Seattle and lost on a last-second 56-yard field goal. Here's what I'm curious about, Mark. Niners have won 4 in a row. Do you know they're the second worst rushing team in the league when it's yards per rush? Only the Raiders, who average 3.4 yards a rush, get less out of a rushing attempt than the Niners, who average 3.5 yards a carry. Even the Saints average 3.6. So what I'm curious about tonight is, Shanahan sticks with the run more than maybe any other coach in the league. But they really should not be able to run the ball tonight against the Colts.
Right. 2 great running backs in this game, obviously, in McCaffrey and Taylor. Taylor's has 13 more attempts than McCaffrey on the season. He has 519 yards more than McCaffrey on the ground.
Right. Give you an idea. What's he averaging? A yard and a half more per carry than McCaffrey?
Like 1.8.
Okay.
3.5 to 5.3.
Right. So I'll be really curious. Can the Colts and their run defense make San Francisco and Purdy beat them? Also, I'd like to see the Colts get their tight end back involved in their offense. Warren kid's kind of disappeared lately.
Yes, he has.
I'd get him back in the offense if I can. So I'm going to take a flyer tonight. I like the Colts. Their season's on the line. They ain't making the playoffs. They lose this game. I know mathematically they're still alive. They're 2 back with 2 to play. They got to play Jacksonville and Houston to end the season. This is it. They have to win tonight realistically.
All right. Rivers threw for like $120 in his first game.
Right.
Would you go over 200 passing yards for Rivers at plus 260?
No. But I'd go over 150. I think he gets in the 170 to 180 range. Niners don't have a great pass rush. They play a lot of zone. They'll give you the short stuff in front of them. Rivers will take it. I think it's a very good game tonight. I
agree with that. I think put it this way. I think it's a competitive, close game. I don't know how good the game is, if you know what I mean. I'm going to take the Niners. I think they'll get it done.
All right.
But I'd be hesitant to lay the 5.5 on the road.
Yeah, I would definitely take the 5.5 at home with the Colts. So that's Monday Night Football tonight, 8:15 on both ABC and ESPN. Have yourself a great Monday. We'll do this again tomorrow, Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. This December, watch the nation's best high school basketball players compete in the City of Palms Classic. Fort Myers will once again welcome future college and NBA stars as they square off at Suncoast Arena from December 18th through the 23rd. Come see Southwest Florida's own Bishop Verreau versus Barron Collier on Sunday night, December 21st. For tournament information, please visit cityofpalmsclassic.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
When you're craving the real taste of Chicago, there's only one name to know. Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell them Miller and Moulton sent you.
This is Miller and Moulton.